Ähm, Wo waren wir denn letztes Mal stehen geblieben? Wir waren mit dem mittleren Bidding War Strang, soweit es geht, abgespielt. Dann sind wir zurück zu Lucky Ship und Beatrix hat sich selber geschafft umzubringen. Und jetzt gucken wir mal weiter. Wir sind in einem Team mit Shizuka, Yoshiki und Nicholas. Nicholas ist natürlich ein bisschen down. Okay, gucken wir mal weiter. I took out the pocket watch and looked at it. I was all out of ideas, and I needed to show it to somebody, but I was limited to my own team, and I wasn't sure how helpful they'd be. Yoshiko was an engineer, so he might be the best person to understand the problem, but he wasn't exactly the most focused person. Shizuka was very determined when she decided to do something, so maybe if I presented the watch to her as a sort of puzzle or game, I could get her interested. But there was Nicholas. Maybe if I asked him for help, it would give him something to focus on and help him keep it together after Beatrix's death. Oh. Es wäre interessant, was Nicholas sagen würde, aber ich denke, es ist eher in die Richtung so, lass mich einfach in Ruhe. Yoshiki würde vielleicht versuchen, was Technisches daraus zu sehen und Shizuka... Ich bin für Shizuka. Kann ja mal hier kurz speichern. The watch was a puzzle, and Shizuka liked being challenged, so I decided to show her the watch and see what she made of it. My tablet showed that she was in a bridge, so I went there to find her. It seemed like a risky place to be, given the captain was on the other team and might come in. Shizuka had taken over the navigator's rule, so maybe she was working. At first I couldn't see her, but then I found her, sitting in the captain's chair, sort of. She was hanging from it, upside down, with a game console in her hands. Are you playing upside down? Shizuka immediately turned herself the right way up.
Don't scare me like that!
What were you doing?
The captain's on the other team, so she can't stop me sitting in her chair.
Wow.
But it got boring, so I decided to play games upside down.
What about when the other teams come back together and the captain finds out you were in her chair?
You wouldn't tell on me, would you?
I wouldn't, but I may have already told. Shizuka suddenly looked very ill, like she had just been sentenced to death. I cleared my throat, deciding to change the subject. So, I want your brain.
What?
I mean, not physically. I'm a mad scientist, but not that mad. Just want you to help me solve a puzzle.
Yes, I'll help. I'm great at puzzles. Show me, show me, show me.
I took out the pocket watch and gave it to her. She looked at it very carefully, checking both sides and examined where the buttons were. This watch was with my parents' old research notes. From what I can understand, it got something to do with the work on interdimensional travel. That's like...
Alternate realities, parallel universes. Sure, I get it. And this can make you travel between them?
Apparently. How would this allow us to travel between dimensions? What do you think is missing? Alles gute Fragen. What do you think I'm missing? Shizuka took a moment to think.
A connection.
Huh?
So, you have this pocket watch that is supposed to allow you to travel between dimensions. But how do you connect to those dimensions?
She poked the air beside my face.
Is this the connection?
Shizuka poked again, this time the empty space on her left.
Or is this the connection? You can't just have an object and expect it to do something. It needs to be in the right environment. I don't look at my game cartridge and then it just works. I need to put it into the right machine, which is connected to a screen, and then it will work. So you have this piece of the puzzle, this cartridge, but you don't know what the console is.
Thank you. That's a really great comparison. What do you think the game console is?
I have no idea. Maybe just being in the right place? Somewhere that's attuned to it, or where barriers are weak? I don't know.
Sowas wie ein schwarzes Loch? Well, it's an idea I hadn't thought about. Thanks, this might help.
No problem. I hope you can figure it out. Let me know when you have more clues to put together.
I will, thanks. And don't worry, your secret is safe with me. Shizuka grinned and flipped herself upside down again, console in her hand. It was time for me to deal with the next problem, Dai. I went back to my room to call Ai and ask her what she'd found out. I sat on the bed with the papers and tablets sprawled over the bed. Nothing. Still nothing. This is so frustrating. Okay, I need to calm down. Getting angry isn't going to solve anything. I threw myself back on the bed and stared at the ceiling for a long time before I was suddenly bathed in the warm glow of Ai's holographic interface.
I am sorry to interrupt.
Don't worry about it, Ai. You weren't interrupting anything. What's up?
I found some more information that may be useful against Dai.
That's wonderful. What is it?
I've discovered that it's possible to input the deactivation code into any terminal, including your personal tablets.
Do you know anything else about the deactivation code? I shook her head.
Unfortunately, I didn't learn anything else. I tried to access more information, but even with my administrator privileges, I was unable to proceed any further.
Well, at least we know where we can input the code once we know what it is.
I am glad you are pleased.
It isn't perfect, but it's a step in the right direction.
I must return to my duties.
Of course. Thanks for the update, Ai. I bowed and faced out of my quarters. Deactivated from any template or terminal, huh? At least now I knew that I wouldn't need any higher clearance level. I'm probably going to have to dig up some information on Ayumu if I want to work out this code. I returned my attention to the watch. Come on, pull yourself together. You need to work this out. I sifted through my parents' papers and tablets to see if I hadn't missed anything. I had a restless and confusing night, full of dreams about Dai and the deactivation code. It felt like the answer was right there, so close that I could touch it, but I just keep missing it, somehow. I could never quite grip it. And because I couldn't, Dai was going to murder every last person on the ship, one by one. Thinking about death so much made me want to make the most of what life I had. I decided to spend the morning enjoying someone's company. Even if I wasn't next, one of my friends might be. I was limited to the people on my team. Nicholas had his own problems, and he didn't need me intruding on his time. So it would have to be Yoshiki or Shizuka. The tablet showed that Shizuka was still in her quarters, while Yoshiki was in the engineering bay. Shizuka was probably fast asleep. She definitely wasn't the most energetic member of the crew. At least, not unless there was a game to be won. The kind of game that was winnable, of course, not a deletion game. I arrived at her quarters and saw that her door was unlocked. If she wasn't awake, she ought to be, so I called out. She didn't answer, and I poked. And I poked my head in to see if I needed to summon Ai to give her a wake-up call. I didn't have the courage to wake her myself. Ah, Scheiße. Ah. Ah. Ach, Spiel. Kennt ihr dieses Meme? Diesen Fake Gamer Girls? Ah, das ist so wie dieses Fake Gamer Girl, die irgendwie in ihren Konsole beißen und währenddessen alles zeigen. Ah, scheiße. Ach, Anime-Fans. Warum seid ihr so lewd? As soon as I saw her, I stepped fully into the room to make sure I was really seeing what I thought I was. She was crawling across the floor with a game controller in her mouth. I could see her underwear. Wenigstens sind wir weiblich. Sonst würde sie uns umbringen. Komm, bring uns für das dritte um, bitte. She sogar took the controller out of her mouth and fake pouted.
Hey, look at your own panties.
Well, we all have the same ones, issued to every woman on board. So technically I did kinda look at my own. Shizuka gave this a moment's thought.
You're probably right.
What do the guys wear? Shizuka shrugged.
I don't know. I never do laundry. Except that one time when I shrank some of the crew's blazers. The captain was furious and banned me from ever washing again.
Das hast du bestimmt extra gemacht, damit du nie wieder Laundry machen musst.
Such a tragedy.
Yep. Was für ein Zufall.
Except such a tragedy.
Hatten wir das Gesicht schon mal? Bin mir ganz unsicher. Wouldn't have been shocked if she had shrunk the blazer on purpose, and the way her eye gleamed made me suspect she possibly had. I'm worried about this new game of dice. You're the game expert. Do you think we'll be okay?
Of course. I've never lost a game yet, and I'm not about to. I'm not usually a fan of multiplayer, you know. But I like my teammates, and I think we make a good mix. I think we'll all be okay.
I hope I can be as confident as you. Shizuka smiled.
Come on, sit down and watch me play. This is supposed to be a really atmospheric game.
I decided to take her up on that offer, so I sat down on her bed, where she changed the game on her console. Maybe the game would be distracting enough to take my mind off my nightmares. It gave me new nightmares. Huh? What the hell? I woke up so quickly I nearly jumped straight off the bed.
Good morning! Rise and shine, kids! This is your friendly neighborhood AI requesting you all be in the dining room within half an hour or face the consequences.
So, wir sind wohl schon beim Spiel. Die?
I repeat, we are ready. All systems are go. This is not a drill. Get to the dining room in 29 minutes and 25 seconds.
It was 5:03 a.m. What could I possibly want? Unless I slept for several days, it wasn't time to play the next game. Maybe she had suddenly decided to change the rules? Or maybe it was a real emergency? But if it was a real emergency, wouldn't I be in control? Figuring I didn't have the time to worry about it, I rushed to get out of bed and rest. Coming out of my room into the corridor, I nearly walked straight into Shizuka.
Hey, watch it!
Sorry, what's going on? What does Dai want?
I figure someone broke the rules. You know, about not talking to the other team?
Wer könnte es diesmal sein? Vielleicht Yoshiki aus Dummheit, aber... Oder Nicholas, aber mit wem? But who would do that? Shizuka shrugged.
Guess we better go find out.
When we arrived at the dining hall, Nicholas was there, along with the captain and Katashi, on the other side of the room. Ah, ich glaube aus Versehen Nicholas und Katashi? What's going on? Does anyone know?
Katashi and I spoke.
What? Why would you do that?
It was an accident. I didn't think. I went into the kitchen, basically walked right into Katashi. I apologized before I remembered.
How could you be so stupid? You can check who's in a room anytime you want. You should have seen he was in there.
I didn't think to check. It was so early that I...
If the whole team gets punished for this, I'll...
Now, no threats of violence. It's not good sportsmanship.
Ja. Shizuka hat ihren Gamer-Moment.
Also, it's kind of my thing.
You can't punish all of us because two people screwed up.
Vladimir rushed in, holding onto Melody's hand. She was still half asleep, looking around the room with dropping eyes. When she saw Dai... Then she saw Dai and tugged her father's shirt.
I don't want to play another game.
Maybe we don't have to. Come, sit down.
Yoshiki was the last person to arrive, and not more than 15 minutes after Dai summoned us. But she still pretended like he was late.
Tisk tisk. Glad you could finally join us.
I'm not late, am I?
Not even close.
Hurry up, hurry up. Take your seat. Let's get started. As I am sure most of you are aware, the rules of the current deletion game have been broken. Nicholas and Katashi have exchanged works, and being on different teams, this is of course forbidden by the very explicit laws I outlined to you repeatedly.
It was an accident!
I just said sorry. One word.
Did I say no communicating unless it's only one word and it's an accident? No, I did not. I said no communication. At all.
This is ridiculous. Are you really going to punish them because Nicholas was polite?
No, of course not.
Then why?
I'm going to punish all of you.
You can't.
Dai, wait. I'll take the punishment. Whatever the consequences are, let me be punished. Not everyone.
Your nobility is cute, and the valor brings out the blue in your eyes. But I'm afraid this is a punishment that must encompass everyone. For the punishment is...
She left a dramatic pause that seemed to last hours.
the deletion game!
Both teams were silent. That was the punishment? We were already going through that. How could she punish us with it?
What?
But we're not ready. We haven't had time to prepare.
So, it's no skin off my nose.
But don't you want the game to be interesting? 8 tired people doing the first thing they can think of won't be very exciting.
I considered this for a few moments.
Good point. This is why you're the captain.
I will allow you 10 minutes for strategy meetings. Team A stays here, Team B will meet in the kitchen.
But
Disperse!
Team B got out of their seats and filed past us, slow and slouching. We waited for Team B to leave before we started working on our strategy.
Okay, so yesterday I came up with a plan of attack for this game.
Really? That's great news. I knew we could count on you, Shizuka.
I know this is not the time, but again, I am so sorry, team.
It's fine, Nicholas. Really. Let's just deal with the issue at hand.
I suggest that we go all in.
Huh?
Like, give someone 9 points right off the bat.
But that would leave 2 people without points.
It's just...
I suddenly chimed in over the intercom system.
Please assemble in the dining hall for this week's deletion game. Round 1 starts in 5 minutes. Woo!
It certainly didn't feel like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it felt like half an hour. I'm sure she has just become bored.
What? But that's not fair.
Well, she was going to make us play on the spot. 5 minutes. Hey, 5 minutes still better than nothing.
I guess.
It was only a few minutes before Team B returned to the dining hall.
Oh goody, everyone's here. Now I know I said an hour, but just look at you all. There's nothing quite like the risk of death to wake you up in a hurry, is there? All right, let's play.
Very well, Dai.
Oops.
I love your fighting spirit. Okay, so what I will need is for you all to wait outside during the other team's turn. You will get up to 5 minutes in the room to decide on your points allocation. Then after that, you can input your choice on the main terminal. However, all hands will have to be placed on the terminal in agreement. Team A, you are up first. Team B, get out.
The members of Team B hastily left the dining hall and left us alone with Dai in the dining hall. The dining table now projected a shimmering holographic terminal.
Your 5 minutes starts now.
As I was saying before, I think we should play high numbers, but that is just my opinion. The real choice is up to you, Captain. Here are all the options I could think of.
So, dann gucken wir mal, was passiert, wenn wir nach Shizukas Plan spielen. Ich wette, dann stirbt sie oder so.
Everyone supports our team captain, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Let's go with it. Input the allocation using the terminal and everyone else place their palms there to approve it.
Thank you for your entry. Please exit the dining hall so that stinky Team B can assign their points.
Quickly shuffled out of the dining hall and Team B entered for their turn.
Well, I guess all we can do now is wait.
For your information, waiting is one of my finest skills. Watch this.
We all stood silently and watched Yoshiki.
See? How good am I at waiting?
Shizuka let out a nervous laugh when Nicholas seemed uninterested in the situation. After a few tense minutes of waiting, Team B exited the dining hall. Dai followed, boisterous as usual.
Wonderful start to the betting wars. Both teams are fighting hard. Now let's see the results of round 1. If you would be so kind as to draw your attention to this screen.
Dai projected a screen using the same light she was made of.
And the winner of round 1 is... Ty. Woo!
Genau das gleiche gespielt.
Can you feel the tension? This is amazing!
Eine komplette
Let's move on
Nullnummer.
to round 2. Team A, you are up again. Please follow me.
They appeared to walk through the wall as we made our way back into the dining hall.
Your 5 minutes starts now.
A tie? What do we do? If we tie, I die automatically.
Yoshiki began to panic and we didn't have time for it.
No, Yoshiki, this is a great loss. We now know how they played the last round. We now know more about the enemy. So I am thinking of these options for the next round.
Spielen wir einfach mal das nochmal.
Thank you for your entry. Please exit the dining hall so that stinky Team B can assign their points.
After a few tense minutes of waiting, Team B exited the dining hall. They followed, boisterous as usual.
If you would be so kind as to draw your attention to this screen. And the winner of round 2 is...
Oh.
Ah! Team A, you are my hero! Let's move on to round 3 then. Team A, you are up again. Please follow me. Your 5 minutes starts now.
We are winning so far. This is a relief.
We might be safe.
The game isn't over yet. Don't get too comfortable. For the last round, I suggest...
3-3-3. Mal gucken, was da kommt dran. Input allocation.
Let's get straight to the results.
Result. Ah, shit.
Congratulations, Team B. After 3...
Oh, was?
And that means Team A, you lose. Congrats!
Ich dachte, ich werde sterben.
And the lucky winner of the wheel is
Yoshiki. Ne.
Nicholas.
So, jetzt haben wir keinen Baddick mehr.
Well, now, that's a shame. The average hotness of this crew is about to take a major dive.
Nicholas, I'm sorry. We didn't do it on purpose. We didn't choose you.
I know. The points fell this way.
Wow, you're so calm about this.
I could see my score as we went. I guess I was prepared for this. And to be honest with you, without my sister, I was...
Sorry, Nikki. No, wait. Not sorry. The other thing. Excited! Let's spin the wheel!
This colorful glowing wheel of deaths appeared beside her, lights flashing.
So, Nicholas, tell the audience, what kind of death are you hoping for today?
I'm not answering that. You'll stop the wheel on the opposite.
Du musst einfach das Opposite, was von dem Opposite du haben willst, angeben.
Are you implying that the wheel of death is rigged? How dare you, sir?
It's not real. Of course you control it.
I have never been so insulted. You don't trust the wheel? Fine. I choose for you. To the medical bay.
Come on. We'd better do what she says.
You're taking this so well.
Now or later, what's the difference? At least I don't have to wonder anymore.
I'm sorry, Nicholas. This isn't fair.
This whole thing isn't fair.
So, das heißt, auf dieser Route verlieren wir erstmal den Vater offscreen, dann Sora, dann Beatrix, dann Nicholas. Yikes. 3 von 4 Vogels.
But it's no more unfair for me than for anyone else.
All right, enough chatter. Let's get moving. Come on now. Left, right, left, right, left, right.
We didn't march, but we did hurry out into the corridor and towards the medical bay.
Keep marching. We're almost there. Left, right, left, right, left, right.
She kept up the marching rhythm for the rest of the walk, shouting so loudly that no one could hear over it. Once we made it to the medical bay, she continued the rhythm right up to the surgical room.
Left, right, left, right, left, right. And stop.
Katashi stopped so suddenly I walked into his back. Shizuka had to grab me to stop me falling.
Nicholas, if you would step into the surgery room, we can get started.
Don't I get goodbyes?
I saw it and rolled her eyes.
Fine. 2 minutes.
Soll das gerade keine Sprite sein? Nicholas went to the captain first, nodding to her with a slight smile. I was impressed that he managed to stay suave and cool, even while preparing for death. Perhaps he'd been preparing since the moment his sister died.
Captain, I appreciate that you've been doing your best under the circumstances. I don't want you to feel responsible for this. Or for Beatrix.
I'm sorry.
You didn't program Dai.
Well, no, but
Don't blame yourself for this. I assure you, I don't. I'm ready.
And I'm gonna need a volunteer from the audience.
It was no surprise that nobody put their hand up.
Come on, don't make me pick someone.
Katashi stepped forward.
All right. What do I have to do?
Don't worry, you'll just be doing some light killing today. I don't believe it's habit forming. If symptoms persist, please see your doctor. Oh wait, you won't have one. In you go.
Nicholas and Katashi both went into the surgical room, but the door remained open behind them. The rest of us assembled in front of the observation window. Melody was just tall enough to see inside.
I like Nicholas. Is he going away forever? Like Mommy and Beatrix?
I'm afraid so, sweetie. Why don't you turn around now?
Melody shook her head.
I want to see what Dai's doing. Will it hurt him?
Ist es jetzt wieder Blut abzapfen oder haben wir was anderes?
I don't think so. You can look for now, but you have to turn around when I say, okay?
Okay.
She had to hold onto the wall and get on her toes to see everything, but Melody's attention was fixed inside the room like everyone else. Dai was inside and giving Katashi instructions.
And then the other one on that arm.
I had missed instructions, but Katashi got to work right away, so he could see what he was doing. He took a large gauge needle and Nicholas instructed him how to get it into a vein on the wrist.
That's right.
I'm so sorry about this.
At least Beatrix isn't here to do it.
Katashi inserted a second needle into the other wrist.
I could do this myself, but it is quite difficult, so thank you.
Katashi pushed a fragile smile at Nicholas.
Pretty good for a farmer. Now, the tube's in that drawer. Attach one to each needle.
Katashi didn't need any instructions for that. All the needles he placed into Nicholas had a plastic screw mechanism on them, so all he had to do was screw the tubes on using the corresponding end. When that was done, Dai had Katashi attach the tubes to the computer, which in a sense, I guessed, was giving them and whatever they could do to Dai herself.
Audience, how about a round of applause for my glamorous assistant?
There was silence.
Applause.
As Katashi left the room to come back to the window with the rest of us, we each put our hands together for a few enthusiastic claps. Melody copied.
Daddy, why did Katashi do those things? He didn't like doing it.
Dai can't touch things, so she made Katashi do it for her.
Melody got down off her toes and reached across her father to pull on Katashi's sleeve.
Melody?
It's not your fault.
Thank you.
Quiz time! Who knows the meaning of the word exsanguination?
Na, also doch wieder. Bloodlust.
Sanguine is Latin for blood. So logically, exsanguination involves not having blood?
Ding ding! 10 points to the lady at the front. The process has already begun. Now, theoretically, he should die once I've drained 1/3 to 1/2 of his blood volume. But I'm keen to push the boundaries. Let's see what he can handle. For science!
Nicholas Vogel, your service to the Everett has been exceptional. We honor your sacrifice today, and we will remember your bravery and integrity. Salute!
Who saluted. Melody copied and did the same.
Well now, that's interesting. Only 30 seconds and already his pulse is way down. Keep your eyes on those vitals, folks.
I was pointing out the screen right out, which showed Nicholas' rapidly falling heart rate. His blood pressure was on the same screen.
Sorry I am late, sister.
It dropped. Very suddenly.
He's going into shock after only a 5/8 loss of blood. Disappointing.
Nicholas' skin had gone right and translucent. Nicholas started to slip slightly in the chair.
Whoops, should have strapped him down. Well, we live and learn. Or not in his case.
The monitoring machines let out an unnecessary alarm tones.
I don't know. I feel like that could have gone better. We'll have to remember for next time. Speaking of next time, I hope to see you all soon for the next deletion game. Thanks for playing!
With that, Dai disappeared. The captain kept looking through the window with a sign of resignation.
Katashi, can you help me with his body?
Of course.
Amakatashi.
Do you think it hurt a lot?
I don't think so. I think he went to sleep and didn't feel anything else after.
That's good.
I think so too. Kimiko and Katashi went into the room to deal with the unpleasant reality of yet another corpse. The rest of us went our separate ways, most of us to our quarters, to hide away and wonder who Dai would take next. Chapter 3. I knew that Nicholas chose to die, but I was still pretty shaken. I promised Beatrix that I'd protect her little brother, yet I was still here and he wasn't. I was the leader, should have kept my team members alive. I rolled over and silently cried into my pillow. Nicholas' blood was on my hands, and I felt 100% responsible. I was losing the motivation to continue living, let alone get out of bed. We're all going to die anyway, so why bother? Right? Oh.
It would be so much easier if we were all dead too.
What the hell? Yoshiki? I sat on my bed and squinted into the dimly lit room. I couldn't see Yoshiki, or even a faint outline of him. Where could his voice have come from?
Hey, bestie. Down here.
I craned my head over the side of the bed and saw him lying on the floor next to my bed, complete with his own pillow and blanket. Yoshiki, what are you doing down there?
I didn't want to sleep alone last night. So, after everyone went to bed, I snuck in.
How did you sneak in? The door locks behind me.
Oh, that. I pulled in a favor.
Ich mag deinen Gesichtsausdruck gerade überhaupt nicht, junger Mann. From I?
She would never override protocol for me.
Isn't she the only one with the ability to?
I guess that's technically correct, yes.
So who was it then?
The captain, of course.
Blatant disrespect for my privacy, from her of all people.
Oh, don't be angry, bestie. We're best friends, so there's no need for you to hide anything from me.
And normally I would roll my eyes at such a comment, but I could see that Yoshiki legitimately felt close enough to me that there was no need for privacy between us anymore. It was cute, in a childish kind of way. So why did you sneak into my room when not somewhere else? Schon besser. Could see Yoshiki welling up, his face flushing a light pink and his eyes shimmering like a sad puppy's.
Would you have rather I ended up in someone else's room?
Haha. Not at all, just curious is all. Yoshiki seemed satisfied with my answer, but his bottom lip was still sticking out a little. Don't be like that. Truthfully flattened that you choose to come to me above everyone else. Why don't you get off the floor and join me up here? Ah. I patted the spot on bed next to me. Yoshiki must have been truly desperate to have slept on that rock-hard floor. Yoshiki leapt to his feet, pillow and blanket in hand.
Are you sure, bestie?
100%.
This day is just getting better and better.
Junge, sag das mal, Nicholas. Yoshiki bounced over me and immediately made himself a little nest in my sheets. He rolled himself up inside his blanket, peering out at me from within.
Look! I'm a burrito!
The best tasting burrito ever.
Beef and cheese?
Definitely not Yoshiki. Yoshiki grinned uncontrollably as he closed his eyes.
Good night, bestie.
Good night, Yoshiki. A lingering feeling of hopelessness melted as I gazed upon Yoshiki's naive and innocent face. I knew that I still had a reason to live, to get up in the morning. I felt myself smiling just as broadly as sleep took me. Ah, the Yoshiki Road.
Oh, what do we have here?
I opened my eyes to find Dai standing next to her bed, smiling mischievously. I tried to sit up, but I realized that Yoshiki's arm was wrapped tightly around me. I promise this isn't what it looks like.
What? Huh?
Yoshiki
stood next to me, drawing me in closer as he did.
Girl, please. We all have needs to be fulfilled.
Dai?
Good morning, Yoshiki. You fox, you.
Fox? I'm not a fox.
Aren't you?
I winked playfully at Yoshiki. Yoshiki let go of me and sat up.
If I could choose anything, I would be a capybara.
Ah, a capybara, hasn't he also? What?
It's like a guinea pig the size of a dog.
What's so special about a capybara?
Capybaras are friends with everyone. I want to be friends with everyone.
Even me?
Of course.
Aww. It seriously bums me out when I think about killing you.
Well, you could just not kill me.
That isn't really fair to the others, though, is it?
Yoshiki was lost in deep thought for a moment.
You're right. It wouldn't be fair.
I'm glad you agree. And with that, I need you two lovebirds to get yourselves to the dining hall for the new game explanation.
I told you, I'm not a lovebird. I'm a capybara.
Okay. You rats get to the dining hall before I murder you both.
Da überlebt wohl was.
Yay! Coming!
Sometimes I wonder what went on inside of Yoshiki's head. It seemed like a magical place. So wie bei SpongeBob, dieser Milchkarton, der einfach umfällt. Oder von Homer, der Affe. Der Trommelaffe. They vanished, after which we flew off the blankets and made our way to the dining hall. Ich hoffe doch, ihr habt euch angezogen. Outside of my quarters, we bumped into a distressed-looking Katashi.
Good morning.
Uh-oh.
Just another day in paradise, eh?
This is the Everett, silly.
Katashi sighed. I saw that he was in no mood for Yoshiki's antics right now.
Let's get this over with.
We arrived to find that we were the last ones there.
I'm impressed.
Huh? I made eyes towards Katashi and made a highly suggestive face. It's not what you think. Rolled my eyes. I was clearly not interested in the truth.
Dai, what is the meaning of this?
Well, I was on my merry way to fetch.
It's nothing, Captain. She's just making up gossip.
I do not have time for gossip.
But it's juicy.
Is it true?
Well, it's still an active investigation, but I do have grounds to make some scandalous accusations.
Get back to me once you have undeniable proof.
Wait, what?
Challenge accepted.
I seemed delighted by her new goal. I groaned, knowing that this was going to cause me problems in the future. Dai's gaze darted around the room in excitement, but nobody was talking.
Come on, I don't have all day. Let's get this out of the way. I've got bigger fish to fry now.
Dai stared at me intensely, as if daring me to challenge her.
Dai, you are the one who gathered us here to tell us about the new game. You are the only one currently holding yourself up.
Ah, yes. I almost forgot. Ahem. May I introduce the new game? Vampire Children. Vampire Children is played no during each. However, after each after three if more now the vampire. But if the be careful, I will notify. This is my favorite game to date. Any questions? Excellent. So,
What?
if you're the vampire, who will be your sweet Bonnie? Yoshiki or Kadashi?
Seriously?
I would put my money on Yoshiki. No, wait, Kadashi.
Dai, I am still waiting on that evidence.
Wow, Captain. Dai smiling menacingly at the captain. Dai suddenly stepped out of the room and a broadcast opened overhead, where we could hear Dai using her best customer service noise.
We understand that you have a choice in deletion game carrier and want to thank you all so much for choosing the Dai deletion game service. We murder for your satisfaction, and we look forward to servicing you again this Sunday.
Couldn't sleep. I rolled over and stared at the empty space that, just last night, had a warm burrito in it. Maybe, just maybe, I should go sneak into his bed this time. His presence had helped me sleep last night, after all. I grabbed my blanket and pillow and wound my way down the hallway towards Yoshiki's room. Wer erwischt es? Uh-oh. Kan hij me datte? Turn to see the captain, looking the same way as she always does. Does she ever asleep? Ah, Captain. How are you?
I was actually just about to rouse you to ask you for your counsel.
Her brows suddenly raised as she had noticed something.
What are you doing?
Busted. I was going to go and get into bed with Yoshiki. Surprising enough, the captain didn't seem at all fazed by this.
Very well. Could I have a moment of your time beforehand?
Yeah, of course. I trailed the captain to the bridge. I stood there, wrapped in my blanket as the captain brought up navigation charts on the screens in front of me.
Just over a week ago, I made the choice to stay on course towards the black hole.
Yeah, I remember. And your argument made sense. So what's the problem?
We will be at the closest point to the black hole tomorrow just after 4 a.m. and
Shizuka will handle it.
Are
you worried that you made the wrong choice?
People are already dying on my watch. I don't want to sentence the entire crew to death at once.
Captain, no one's going to die being discharged to the black hole. As Shizuka said, we should miss the event horizon, which, as you know, is a point of no return in a black hole. We won't get stuck. We won't die. The captain did look convinced. My understanding of black holes means that, worst case scenario, while navigating through its gravitational pull, we might experience time dilation, but even then, it shouldn't be observable from us.
Time dilation?
Ach, das ist wie in Danganronpa in der im ersten Spiel. Da gab es auch eine Szene, die wurde irgendwie gefühlt 10-mal gezeigt oder so. Sollte ich aber wegen Spoilergründen nicht nennen. To put it simply, time passes slower for those closer to a black hole than those farther away from it. So a day to us might in fact be a year for others further away, but theoretically we shouldn't even notice. The captain started looking even more concerned. Nothing I was saying was helping her. Maybe I was making it worse. My father always said that people are like parrots. They love their own reflections and their own voices. Maybe this is what he meant. Here goes. Captain, would you rather have a 100% chance of death or a 50% chance? The captain's very demeanor quickly melted away, and she turned her gaze to me, smirking.
Wise words. I wonder where you got them from. But you are right, and so was I. Not chancing the black hole is a death sentence in itself.
See, all better. No point worrying about what we can't control. We'll either die by black hole or by a psychotic AI system, both noble deaths. The captain looks down for a moment before breaking into a laugh.
Noble indeed. Thank you for the laugh and for your counsel.
You're most welcome. I should return to my bed. Ich dachte, wir gehen zu einer anderen.
You mean Yoshiki's bed?
Oh. Yeah, right, yeah. I turned a deep scarlet as the captain smiled playfully before becoming immediately more stern.
What are your intentions with Yoshiki exactly?
So, wir bleiben mal bei Friendzone. The captain cocked her eyebrow. No, I mean... What? No, I mean literally just sleeping.
Oh?
Last night he slept in my room because he didn't want to be alone, and as a result, I slept like a rock. So maybe...
If you sleep in his quarters, you will sleep well again?
Yeah, I find his presence comforting.
I understand.
Thank you, Captain. The captain smiled at me warmly, as he just understood how comforting Yoshiki can be. Could you do me a favor, Captain?
What is it?
Are you able to let me into Yoshiki's quarters, so I don't wake him going in?
Of course. I
materialized in front of us.
Yes, Captain?
Please unlock Yoshiki's door and allow access to...
Das finde ich halt ein bisschen... Warum ist es manchmal leer geblieben und manchmal nehmen die halt einfach ein Pronomen wie er oder sie oder they?
Yes, Captain.
Bisschen komisch. inclined my head to the captain as a show of thanks and headed towards Yoshiki's quarters. I tiptoed across the floor, carefully rolling myself in my blanket and sliding myself into the gap next to him.
Burrito!
Huh? Yoshiki wrapped his arms around me in a tight bear hug, rocking back and forth with glee. Good morning to you too, Yoshiki.
Good morning, my favorite burrito.
Beef and cheese?
Nope. You, my favorite.
Yoshiki squeezed me so tight that I struggled to get my words out between grasps. Your burrito is going to spill everywhere if you keep squeezing so hard.
Ah, sorry. I got too excited.
What time is it anyway?
It is a little after 10 a.m.
What? It's so late already?
Are you late for something?
Nothing in particular. I just wasted my morning.
Well, you still have the rest of the day.
You're right. Best get to it. Catapulted out of Yoshiki's bed and into a bath before heading to the lab. Took my parents' research out, laying it across multiple tables. Okay, I know I can do this. I studied at my tablet, cross-referencing notes I had taken from my parents' research notes. I was hoping that a new day would shed some light on the task. Luck was not on my side, however. Brain, why do you have to do this to me now, of all times? I sighed when I realized that my outburst had made me lose my place, and I wearily began at the start of my parents' notes once more. I consoled myself with the fact that I may have missed something anyway.
How's it going, bestie?
Huh? I looked up and saw Yoshiki standing in the doorway, grinning ear to ear like a clown. Oh, Yoshiki. Hello there.
What you doing?
I was looking through my parents' research notes. I had a feeling that I was on the brink of a discovery. Apparently I was wrong.
I know you are. Maybe you need a break.
You're getting breakthrough confused with break.
Well, you can't spell breakthrough without break.
I giggled as a childish logic.
Seriously, though, taking breaks is really important for progress. You've already been in here for almost 10 hours.
Wait, what? I glanced at my table. It was indeed 8:34 p.m. I guess time flies when you're having fun.
You were having fun?
Not really, but imagine what time it would be now if I were. Yoshiki gasped.
It wouldn't even be today anymore.
Haha, probably not.
So...
Yoshiki was clearly fishing to see if I would take a break and spend some time with him. Ich frage mich eigentlich, was hier dann passiert. Ist es einfach so, ja, kriegst keine Event oder kann dann CG sein oder kommt da jetzt Katashi als nächstes rein? Break sounds like a great idea. Lead the way, Yoshiki, master procrastinator. Yoshiki's face lit up like he just won the lottery.
You won't regret it. I've already got a great activity planned.
Oh really? What is it?
It's a secret, silly. Come on, let's go.
Okay. Give me a second so I can pack up here. I scampered around, roughly collecting up my parents' research. The pocket watch was then stored safely in my pants pocket. I patted the outside of the pocket to reassure myself.
All right, let's go.
Yoshiki seemed even more excited than usual. I wonder what on earth he had planned. I followed the bouncing Yoshiki down the hallway, heading towards what I surmised was the Eco Lounge. Die sind auch sehr selten. As we neared the Eco Lounge entrance, Yoshiki suddenly yanked me close to him and whispered in my ear.
Bestie, let's steal some food.
Uh-oh. What? Why? Plus, why are you whispering? There's no one around.
We might die tomorrow, so let's eat something delicious.
And the whispering? Ach, ich dachte gerade so, hä? Wir hätten noch keinen spielen. Aber wir haben ja schon Vampire's Children. I?
If I knew that we were stealing things, she would dob us in.
Really? Here was me thinking she might be relatively okay with crime.
I thought so too. The first time.
What happened?
I asked her to keep watch for Katashi, knowing that she tracked everyone on the ship.
Okay.
And she told me that he wasn't nearby.
Uh-huh.
Little did I know that she had already notified him and was keeping watch over me while he made his way to the farm, where he caught me red-handed stealing apples.
Wow, what a narc.
Yep, so...
I followed him sneakily to the farm, looking over my shoulder a lot more than before. Think we're in the clear? Yoshiki smiled mischievously as he tiptoed towards the mandarin trees.
Do you like mandarins?
I don't think I ever had one.
Well, I guess we're about to find out.
Yoshiki plucked the mandarin from the tree and tossed it playfully to me. I snatched it out of the air and put the mandarin straight into my mouth. It was very chewy. Mit Schale? Huh?
You have to peel mandarins.
Ja, natürlich. Spat the mandarin out of my mouth. Didn't you warn me?
I just assumed you would peel it. It's basically a baby orange after all.
Well, you assumed wrong. I glared at him as I peeled the mangled mandarin as best I could. I could see Yoshiki in silent tears out of the corner of my eye.
Would you have preferred me to start you on a more simple fruit?
I blew him a huge raspberry in response.
Aw, come on. Even you have to admit it was hilarious.
I decided it was time for a change of subject. What happens if we get caught?
Depends on who catches us.
What's the worst case scenario?
The captain. Definitely the captain.
Why?
She would punish us.
But how?
I've been locked in my room more times than I can remember. More than anyone else on the ship, for all I know.
How do you keep getting yourself in trouble?
I've been caught quite a few times stealing food.
Is it the only reason?
One time I made the captain really angry when I ran past her while she was knitting, tripping on her yarn and unraveling all her work.
Okay, it sounds like an innocent mistake.
It was, but she was furious. Her knitting was so close to being finished too. I felt terrible.
Verständlich. What was she making?
A sweater with a happy face on it. For me.
Aww. So you wrecked your own sweater. Yoshiki sighed.
I was almost as upset as she was after finding out. After she calmed down, she let me out pretty quickly, though. She said, being cold for the rest of my life is enough punishment.
Wow, it sounds like the captain, alright.
Yeah.
Yoshiki and I spent the rest of the evening gorging ourselves on fruit and vegetables before sneaking back to my room for the evening. So, come here. What's your favorite fruit?
Favorite fruit? Let me think.
I started eating my own now peeled mandarin as he gave it though. It was pretty damn good.
Carrots!
Carrots are a vegetable, not a fruit.
Oh yeah! Okay, hang on. Pears.
Why? Yoshiki seemed Ich dachte als erstes, er hätte Erbsen gesagt. Peas. Aber da hätte er auch sagen müssen, das ist ein Gemüse. Aber Pears sind ja Birnen.
Because they taste good?
That's a good as a reason as any, I guess. Yoshiki and I spent the rest of the evening, so... Did you only see... He fought hard as he peeled his mandarin.
I don't remember stealing anything else. Oh, wait!
You stolen other things?
Only one time, though.
Oh, what did you steal?
Promise you won't laugh?
I promise.
I might have stolen one of Shizuka's video game consoles.
Du lebst noch? To play game ons?
No, it was broken. When I explained that I could fix it, she said I wasn't allowed to touch it.
But you could fix it.
Sure. It was a simple console her mother made, and she was very protective of it. I think she was afraid that I would break it more.
Oh, okay, auch verständlich. So you stole it?
Just while she was sleeping. It was back in her room before she even knew it was gone.
That's so sweet of you.
Want to know what the funniest part was? The next day she showed it to me and said it was a good thing that she didn't let me touch it, or else I would set it on fire by accident.
So she doesn't know it was you who fixed it?
Nope. I will take that secret to my grave.
Ja, das ist eigentlich...
Nope.
Können wir da auch aufhören? Yoshiki and I spent the rest of the evening gorging ourselves on fruit and vegetables before sneaking back to my room for the evening. Yoshiki prepared his usual burrito on the left side of the bed and, also in his usual style, was asleep in mere moments. I changed in my bedclothes and joined sweet Yoshiki in blissful unconsciousness. I felt a sudden sharp jab before my head hit the floor with a thump. Dazed and confused, I whipped my head around the room to see what was attacking me. Ow! What the? I looked up from my new view on the floor and saw that Yoshiki had performed a violent takeover of the bed in his sleep and bulldozed me off in the process. Picked myself up and brushed myself off. Went to push Yoshiki back onto his side when I noticed the airy green light that illuminated the room. Oh baby, der nächste Jump. Hier sollte auch also hier oder in der anderen Timeline sollten wir auch wenigstens auch ein Codewort kriegen. Weird. My eyes traced the light back to its source. It was the pocket watch. The watch. The watch.
Huh? What?
The pocket watch. The lights are all green. I think it's on. I mean, at least it's doing something. Yoshiki rolled back over to avoid the bright light and returned to sleep. Trembling, I picked up the watch and held it reverently in my hands. I felt tears of joy streaming down my face. So press it. I didn't hesitate. I pressed the button with a hope-filled heart. Bye-bye, Yoshiki. I woke with a swimming head for the second time in many minutes and found myself lying face down in a puddle of cold drool on the floor. Ugh, gross. I rolled over onto my back and stared at the ceiling until the nausea passed. My room still looked the same, although strangely absent of any real feeling of warmth. I slowly got to my feet and tried to collect my thoughts. I noticed that I no longer had the pocket watch. I began to panic and started tearing open drawers, but quickly discovered in the box along with my parents' research. That's weird. I don't remember putting it back there. I shook my head and sighed. Nothing significant had changed, so it must have been yet another failure. What a disappointment. Couldn't shake the last traces of nausea, so I decided to check myself into the medical bay and take something to settle my stomach. The last thing I needed was to head into the next round of the deletion game feeling ill. I arrived at the medical bay and, not expecting anyone at this hour, started rummaging through the medicine cabins. Molten Cherry? Bitte was? Excuse me, can I help you? Oh, hallo. Ja, hallo, Jag. Danke für den Viewer. Oh, ich glaube, das ist wieder Self-Insert vom Entwickler. Alarmed, appeared around the cabinet door. Hadn't expected an interruption. After all, Nicholas and Beatrix were both dead. Who are you? Ist das nicht voiced oder ist das auch wieder ein Fehler? Yeah. Interesting enough, that's actually exactly what I was going to ask you, but decided on how can I help you instead. It's more polite, you see. Okay, can I help you then? I don't know. Can you? Who was this woman speaking in riddles? Where did she come from? She didn't seem at all concerned to find a stranger ransacking the medicine cabinet. She was disturbingly calm. What are you looking for? Feeling quite nauseated. Ah, that's an easy fix. Take a seat on the bed. I will get you some good old-fashioned bismuth subsilicate? What on earth is that? It's the active ingredient used in antacid medication for upset tummies. I sat down like I was told, while she whipped around the medical bay like a ruthless, efficient tornado. Mind if I give you a once-over while you're here? A once-over? Just checking your vitals, you know, making sure you're healthy. Sure, I guess. Oh, and happy end. That's the spirit. She moved towards me and shone a blinding light directly in my eyes. If she had a reaction to what she saw, it would be a few seconds before I could see again to check. There's a good girl. Now open wide and say, ah. I did so, and she had a look around in my mouth while checking my pulse at the same time. Want the good news? Sure. You appear to be human. I already knew that. Well, I didn't. So good news for me, I guess. I tried really hard to comprehend what had just happened. What was going on here? Huh? Would you still like that medicine for your nausea? Please. Great, all yours. The woman handed me a cup of water and 2 tablets. I? Wait, what? Ah, gender bender. Cute. I materialized into the room. At least I thought it was I. Was she? A he? Aye, does the young lady here have a personal chip?
She does. This woman's identity is unknown to me. However, she undeniably has a chip that uses the Everett's unique encryption stamp.
Huh, cool. The woman seemed more amused than surprised by the news.
Researcher aboard the Everett, born to Deborah and Patrick.
Do you know my parents? I knew them, but sorry, they died years ago. Childless. I wasn't born. Apparently not in this reality. Why am I the molten cherry? The truth hit me hard just then. The pocket watch had actually worked. It's nice to meet you, Kaname-date. Mein Name ist MC. Wow. That very main character. Changed realities. Just a different dimension. Something else struck me about what MC had just said. What, you knew? That I'm from a different dimension? Of course. How else would someone magically appear in the Everett? A ship floating through space, light years away from any living soul. Didn't you tell me? Discoveries are much more fun when realized by oneself. MC smiled at me warmly before turning to I. Please inform the captain that we have a new crew member. Wait, have you solved the dye crisis? I'm not sure I know what that is. No dye. I felt an immense wave of relief that, here at last, I no longer had to deal with her. Alright, you look pretty good to me. Let's head over to the dining hall and you can meet the rest of the crew. Beatrix and Nicholas there, Yoshiki, Katashi, Shizuka, Kimiko. Whoa, slow down there. No, to all of those but the last one. Kimiko is still captain. We have the pleasure of living under her thumb. Every day. So how many crew are there? Well, 9, including you. She signaled for me to follow her out of the medical bay. I was sure to slip the watch into my pocket before proceeding. At the dining hall, I was greeted by a sea of faces I didn't recognize. What struck me was how happy they all seemed.
It is nice to meet you. I am Kimiko Yukimori, captain of the Everett, and this is my crew. I would like everyone to introduce themselves to...
The crew took turns introducing themselves. In total, I met 6 new crew members. Subi, Nathaniel, Daniel, Elizabeth, Bonnie and Theophil. Wie viele davon haben wir schon gesehen? Subi, Nathaniel, Bonnie. Ich glaube, die 3 hatten wir auch gesehen, aber bin mir gar nicht so ganz sicher.
Why don't you tell us about yourself?
Hi, my name's Kaname Date, and I lived on a port for most of my life. I was then sent back to the Everett, at which time the AI system became corrupted and started killing off the crew members. Using my parents' research, I've changed dimensions in hopes to find a way to stop the murderous AI system. Und wie scheint das Einzige, was wir jetzt getan haben, uns zu retten. Fuck die andere Dimension. The room sat in stunned silence at my story. Perhaps they were expecting something a little lighter. My hobbies or my favorite color, perhaps. Oh, and I enjoy taking baths. Apparently that did little to lessen the tension in the room.
Oh, well,
I could see the captain attempting to analyze this new information.
I assume you arrived via the pocket watch?
I did. How did you know? I pulled the watch out of my pocket to show the crew. The lights were all still lit up green.
Your parents in this dimension explained their work to us and told us when to expect travelers before they passed.
Wait, so you know how it works?
Not so much.
Suddenly the watch lights faded.
Sorry to interrupt, Captain, but we have safely navigated around the black hole.
Thank you, As I was saying, we only know the basics.
Why isn't it working anymore? What happened?
I am unsure, but what I can say is that both Origin and the Destination dimension must have a pocket watch. Your parents said that the likelihood that someone would travel here was almost certain if we kept this watch intact.
Wait, this watch?
Yes, what you are holding is our dimension's version of the watch.
It's not mine?
The watch cannot travel with you.
Oh. I was happy to learn more about the watches and how they work, but I was deeply ashamed that I hadn't even managed to figure out this basic information yet. So...
It would appear that, for now at least, you are an honorary crew member.
But I have to return and save my crew?
Why not take a seat and celebrate your arrival with us and carry on with your research after a good meal and some rest?
My mind was racing, running over every scenario, but I seen that she was right. I needed to bide my time for now. You're right.
Welcome to the crew. Know that regardless of your research outcomes, you are always welcome here and will forever be a part of this crew.
2, 4, 6, 8. Wir sind sehr selten auf diesen CGs. Wir waren nur auf dem, wo wir Kimiko gedatet haben. Wo wir sterben. Bonnie, Nathaniel, Subi. Den haben wir, glaube ich, auch schon gesehen. Den hatten wir, glaube ich, noch nicht.
Cheers.
The crew ate and drank and made merry. It was a huge contrast to the previous days and weeks that I spent on the old Everett. The crew welcomed me, and it was not long before they made me feel like this was home, which was nice, given that I never did get home. So. So, kurz mal. Wird das hier was ändern? No need for hostilities. Where's Beatrix? What did you do with her? I realized almost as the words were leaving my mouth that Beatrix was dead, and my question was ridiculous. Apparently keeping calm and engaging my brain under pressure was not my strong suit. Beatrix? Who's Beatrix? What do you exactly mean, who's Beatrix? Just what I said. I had no idea what you're talking about. I tried really hard to comprehend what had just happened. What was going on here? Yes. So, okay.
She does.
Ab da wird's wieder normal. So, don't press the button. Chapter 4. As pressing the button, regardless of how happy I am, might be a mistake. I took a deep breath and considered the situation for a moment. My thought process wasn't being overly helpful, rather it was preoccupied. The watch. The watch is on. I think. The watch. Sure helpful, brain. I decided to wake up Yoshiki and ask for help. He would have to provide more help than my current brain. Holding a watch in one hand, I used the other to start gently pushing on Yoshiki's shoulder. Yoshiki, wake up.
Can't. Sleeping.
I simply brushed off my gentle nudges. It appears I have to get creative. Yoshiki, the engineering bay is on fire.
What?
Yoshiki pounced out of bed in his burrito wrapping, and without hesitation ran out of my quarters in little more than his boxers. That didn't go as planned. I sat on the side of bags, fixated on the watch. So long before my quarters door opened, revealing an embarrassed Yoshiki, who was in the midst of a scolding. I could hear the captain who was in the hallway.
I do not want to see you again until you are dressed appropriately.
Oops.
And
I am disappointed in you, Yoshiki.
Could see Yoshiki's eyes swelling with tears as the quarter doors shut behind him. He quickly became dressed as he attempted to avoid eye contact with me. Yoshiki, I'm so...
Why would you tell me the engineering bay's on fire?
I was trying to get you to wake up.
So I could get in trouble. Thanks a lot.
I could see he was pretty upset. I didn't mean for him to get in trouble. I wanted to show you this. I passed the now glowing pocket watch over to Yoshiki. His eyes dried up immediately, and all signs of distress drained from his face as his smile started encroaching across it.
Your watch! It's working!
Yeah, I woke up and it was on. I was going to press the button.
You can't!
What?
You can't press the button. I forbid it.
Oh, jetzt macht er die Beatrix. Yoshiki suddenly looked uncertain.
You are foreboded. Wait, is that a word?
Yes, no, maybe. I'm not sure. That's not the point. Yoshiki simply stared at me, pouting. Yoshiki, what's wrong?
We're best friends, don't you know?
It appears that my best friend telekinetic powers don't work when I'm sleepy.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yoshiki sat next to me on the bed. His smile was the thin veil on his worry.
I don't want to lose you.
Könnten sich auch zusammendrücken. Given the rate that the deletion game is progressing, that might happen sooner than later.
No, I know that we will all probably die at the hands of Dai.
Somehow, he said that so flippantly, almost as if it was given.
I don't want you to leave. To change dimensions and leave me behind.
Siehst du, und wir Arschloch sind dann einfach auf der anderen Timeline glücklich. Yoshiki.
You're the bestest friend I've ever had. And I know it's selfish, but I don't want to live without you.
Alright, alright. I will leave the pocket watch alone until I can ensure that if I press the button, I can take you with me. Können wir nicht einfach zusammendrücken? Yoshiki leapt forwards, wrapping me in his arms.
Thank you, bestie. I will ensure that you don't ever regret this.
I hugged him back just as tight. Could never regret spending more time with you.
So, do we have to get up right now? Or can we go back to sleep?
Does this answer your question? I started rolling myself in my blanket. Yoshiki soon followed. It wasn't long before both the bed burritos were fast asleep.
Oh ho ho ho! What do we have here?
I wriggled free from my blanket to see Dai standing at the end of my bed, smiling slyly. Dai?
Feeling refreshed this morning? Or were you up all night?
What? I would have been up all night to get lucky. Dai nodded towards the Yoshiki burrito that was still sleeping, mouth open next to me. It's not what it looks like.
Look, sister, power to ya. I just...
What?
Really? Yoshiki?
Hey, what's wrong with Yoshiki? Yoshiki began staring awake as I was attempting to defend his honor.
Well, I I did already kill the most handsome man on the ship.
Yoshiki is a great man. A handsome man. Look at that six-pack.
Mom, shh. I'm trying to sleep.
Oh, Oedipus Complex A. You're right. He's a keeper.
Really, Yoshiki? Of all the times to half asleep, call me mom?
Anywho, I'm here for a reason.
How?
I have come to inform you, and Mummy Lover over there, your roles for this round of the deletion game Vampire Children.
Das wäre mal was, wenn wir beide Menschen, Humans wären. When does the game start?
In about 2 hours. So you'll have plenty of time to deduce.
Deduce?
You want to breed blindly with a vampire? Well, I guess your taste in partners is already questionable.
Ach, die. Grow up.
Grow up? Look at the kettle calling the pot black. Why are you getting so upset?
Just tell me my role.
Can no do. Not with him here.
Fine, I go wait in Yoshiki's quarter while you tell him, and then please come tell me.
Why wouldn't he leave? This is your quarters.
He just called me mom. Isn't going anywhere fast. And yes, you gel.
Yoshiki, the engineering bay is on fire.
Unless you gel, fire. Yoshiki, shut up. Once again, panic and ran out of my quarters. This time, still wrapped in his blanket.
Problem solved.
Oh man. Going to hear about this later. He's not gonna be happy that this happened again.
Ahem. Now, your role.
Come on, human.
Bum bum.
What? Really?
Yeah, sorry. You have been selected as the game's vampire. Congratulations!
This doesn't feel like something I should be congratulated for.
Oh, such a naive stance.
What? Why?
Being the vampire. This is your game. Your time to shine.
How is that?
Being the vampire means you're in control, and if handled correctly, a sure victory.
Doesn't feel like that.
And it won't be with that attitude. Have some more faith in yourself. I know I do.
Really?
Yep. Still hoping you come out on top. Well, I best go deal with Yoshiki. Toodles!
I dissipated from my quarters, leaving me alone in my bed for the first time in days. The vampire, eh? I took a deep breath. Guess now is when I need to make my biggest decision in this game. Will I play alone? Will I get myself a Clyde? So, gehen wir als erstes für Solo. Solo Bolo. I'm a lone wolf. Do I need a partner to win this? I howled, joking, laughing at my own actions. Alright, if I'm going to win this, alone or not, I need to go in with a game plan. Before I could even start my plan, I appeared in front of me.
We need to speak.
Oh, good morning.
I do not have long. Come to the server room.
I set off on her quarters, leaving me quite confused. I'd never even heard her sound quite so human. She seemed worried, a side of her I hadn't really seen before. Looked at my tablet to locate the server room. I'd never been there. It wasn't long that I had the location and made my way there. When I arrived, I was already standing in attention, awaiting my arrival.
I must make this quick. She died. You can't. This is your only chance. Once you you always.
Quickly made my way from the server room into the hallways, which too was dark. Hello? Started making my way slowly down the hallway. Something was wrong. Captain? Yoshiki? Stuck my head into the dining hall. Katashi? Shizuka? Suddenly, the silence was pierced by a scream. Scream. I ran towards the scream. I could hear my heart pounding in my ears as my brain was pleading with my legs to stop, to run in the other direction, but yet I kept running towards the scream. Wasn't even entirely sure where I was anymore on the ship. My legs had simply taken me there. Here, the room was dimly lit. I stopped suddenly. Captain? Oh shit.
Please, help.
Oh shit. Captain, what happened?
I killed Yoshigi.
What? What? Why?
I killed me.
I don't understand. She continued to stumble towards me, clenching her wound.
I have a knife. Please, help me. Stop me.
You have a knife? I took a step back, unsure how to process what was happening.
Where am I?
Captain?
I lost sight of me.
I looked around, still unable to discern where we were. Don't know where we are.
Not us. Me.
She was still speaking in riddles. I didn't know what to do. What do I do? I started taking more steps backwards, unsure of how I could help the captain, especially if she had a knife and she killed Yoshiki.
No, I'm behind you.
Before I had a chance to turn, I felt a sudden, sharp pressure on my lower back. A warm sensation was flowing from the point.
She doesn't appreciate you. She doesn't deserve you.
Suddenly, this pressure was twisted, and as it did, excruciating pain shot through my spine into my legs. Suddenly, the pressure was ripped from my spine, and with it, I toppled to the ground, unable to stand. I clenched my eyes closed as they began filling with tears. Captain?
I'm sorry.
Who attacked me?
I did. I also attacked me.
I felt the captain place a blood-covered hand on my own, gripping it tightly.
I'm sorry I couldn't protect us.
I gripped back. Mirror matches are always challenging. Mirror matches are always challenging.
Is that a joke? At a time like this?
When it's a better time. Could feel my pain fading. It was quite refreshing. My body was suddenly beginning to feel much lighter.
Stay with me. Please, stay.
You've died. Nee, fällt safe. Was? Lone Wolf? Ups. I have no idea. Passiert das gleich, oder? Ist natürlich. Okay. Let's get a Clyde. Alright, 2 heads are better than 1. But whose head? Oh boy, oh boy. Vladimir knew my parents, and in his best interest to be on the winning team here, for Melody's sake. I made my way to Vladimir's slaughters, which opened upon my arrival.
Monkey!
Oh, good morning, Melody.
I'm a human.
That's nice, but you probably shouldn't tell people that.
Not even monkey? But we're friends, right?
I looked at Melody, who was now looking at me with much concern. Of course we are.
Yay! Daddy's a human too.
Vladimir suddenly appeared from the other side of the room.
Melody, I told you not to tell anyone.
Aww.
Monkey's okay.
So Vladimir let out a heavy sigh, as if keeping her safe wasn't hard enough. She was unknowingly making it more difficult.
Hello.
I heard you are human.
Yeah.
Vladimir looked at Melody with a mix of emotions. It's okay, Vladimir. I already knew.
That I was a human?
Yeah.
To be sure of that, you...
I nodded at him.
I see.
So Vladimir take a moment to think.
Allow me to make a proposal.
I'm listening.
We don't make our working together official.
Wait, what?
Bear with me, please.
I nodded and allowed him to continue.
If I don't breed with Melody in round 1, people will be incredibly suspicious.
He might be right. The only reason I could think that he wouldn't would be because he's the vampire and trying to save her. It would be suspicious.
So, let's play a long game.
What do you suggest?
Allow Melody and I to breed in the first round, ensuring we have a baby score, and so Melody won't be on the chopping board. And you, breed with someone, and that someone, we be the ultimate loser.
Wait, so the person I breed with will die?
Correct, because they will have no human babies to their names at the end of the game when you win, with my and Melody's help.
Who should I partner with?
That is up to you. I will simply help you to survive to the next round, and in turn, ensuring that Melody will too.
Not as slowly as the gravity of the situation and my choice will have.
It is best that you leave, or else others may get suspicious. Melody and I will ensure to breed with vampires in round 3, to ensure you succeed in turning the entire crew.
Agreed, and swiftly left his quarters, making my back to my quarters. Arrived back in my quarters, trying to take my time to just process everything that had happened, and how I should advance from here. What should I do? Before I had a second moment to think, I appeared in front of me.
We need to speak. You can't. This is your only. Once. You.
Okay, wieder das Gleiche.
Please, help.
Shizuka. I checked the tablet, and it showed Shizuka was heading towards the kitchen. I made my way there. Before I entered the kitchen, I could hear Shizuka and Katashi speaking from the hallway.
If anyone approaches you, saying they are the vampire, play along with it.
Also wie beim letzten Mal. Vladimir will nichts damit zu tun haben. Shizuka und der Captain versuchen uns reinzulegen und Yoshiki ist dann die einzige Option, die es ein bisschen anders macht.
So they don't become defensive?
If anyone approaches...
So they don't...
Correct. And then tell me, and we can use that information to ensure they lose and we win.
Got it.
Well, I guess that option is out of the window. Looks my hand was been forced. I am now the lone wolf.
Did you hear someone?
I'll just check the hallway.
Ah, crap. Run as fast as my legs would take me back to my quarters. Took me a few moments to catch my breath. I don't think I've ever run that fast in my life. Didn't need a partner to win this. I howled jokingly, laughing at my own actions. Okay. Ah shit, falscher Button. Egal. No idea. That. Ne, falscher. Ah shit. Doch. Yoshiki. There's only one choice, and that is Yoshiki. I made my way to the engineering bay, where I expected to find Yoshiki flustered. Hey bestie, sorry that I lied. The engineering bay was billowing smoke. Walking in made my eyes sting. Wait, there is a fire?
Just a moment, bestie. Just getting this under control.
Ich glaube, da hat's wirklich angezündet, damit es stimmt. I stood gobsmacked.
Shh, don't tell Yoshiki, but I felt bad about lying to him.
Die. What?
So I stopped lying.
Natürlich. By starting a fire?
Yep, I sent a surge to one of the computer consoles.
You started a fire because you felt bad?
Yeah? What? You think I would start a fire for fun? I'm not a lunatic.
I huffed and zapped out of the engineering bay.
Alright, that should do it.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Just appears one of the computer consoles caught fire after a power surge.
I tried to act unaware of the situation that just unfolded. I wonder how that happened. Yoshiki just shrugged.
Surges just happen sometimes.
Huh.
Did you get your roll?
Yeah, I did. Yoshiki gasped. What?
Yes!
Yes, what?
I will be your Clyde.
How do you know I'm the vampire?
Best friends, remember? We can read each other's minds. Just how you knew I was given the human role.
Weil ich der einzige Vampir bin. Well, that's because...
Best friends.
I just let a frustrated sigh.
So, how are we approaching this?
I hadn't really gotten further in planning than asking you to join me.
That's okay, bestie, because I have a great plan.
Yeah?
We can just talk to each other via telekinesis during the game to ensure we strategize, but so no one else can overhear.
But
We shouldn't spend any more time together. We don't want people to be suspicious of us. I will talk to you via telekinesis once I get to my quarters.
before I could rebut, Yoshi had run out of the engineering bay, let out a further, heavier sigh, and made my way back to my quarters. Sat on the end of my bed and, amusing Yoshiki's fury, waited to hear him via telekinesis. Nothing. Of course I can't hear anything. Placed my hand in my hands, as I began trying to contemplate how to communicate with Yoshiki in other ways. You know, ways that work. Suddenly I appeared.
I must. This.
No idea. Und keiner da. You're dead.
Please.
So. Dann sind wir auch auf dieser Route weiter. Fertig für heute. Oder fürs Erste. Zeit für Bidding Wars.
Yes.
So.
Thank you for your.
Also 3-3 hat uns vorgebracht, aber 3-3-3 hat Nikolas umgebracht. Nehmen wir mal das hier. Achso, wir haben gewonnen.
Congratulations, Team A! After 3 rounds, you have come out victorious. And that means, Team B, you lose. Congrats!
I'm so sorry.
Enough of that. Now for the prize winner. Congratulations, Katashi!
Guten Morgen, Klaus.
All right, well, let's get to it. But first, just let me take the time to really congratulate all of our winners and our losers. Isn't teamwork just the greatest?
Shizuka's face swelled with grief as she approached Katashi and grabbed hold of one of his shirt sleeves.
Oh no! Our winning wasn't supposed to sentence you to death!
I don't ever believe you meant for me to die, kiddo.
No! Please, anyone else!
Katashi patted Shizuka on the head as she began to weep. Ich gehe gleich auf eine Corona-Party. Ja, dann viel Spaß.
I should have lost. Then you would still be okay.
Kiddo, you were never gonna lose. Games are your thing.
Should have lost on purpose.
No, you shouldn't have. You had your team to protect. You did a wonderful job.
But
I was Team B's captain, and I would gladly die to protect my team.
Katashi!
Some games you win, some games you lose. In my case, it's usually lose.
Katashi let out a hearty laugh before the captain interrupted.
I'm sorry, Katashi. I tried to ensure we all had points.
I know you did, Captain. But as you said, it was important that we protect Melody. And we did. Besides, it's quite fitting, isn't it? After all, I was the one who triggered the game to start early in the first place.
Also in dieser Route sterben beide Personen, die die Regel gebrochen haben. Shizuka shuffled to the back of the crowd. Although she was doing her best to hide her face, I could hear her quietly crying. Dai meaningfully cleared her throat.
Yes, I agree. Super fitting. Now let's get on with it.
Dai materialized the wheel in front of her and started spinning immediately. Her eyes widened as she watched it spin. Tick, tick, tick.
Oh, how fitting, Katashi. You're going to be cooked to death.
Schon wieder?
Can't come up with anything new, eh, Dai?
Excuse me?
I'm not the first person to die from being cooked.
Katashi, don't be insensitive.
Ist der Vater so gestorben? Vater Vogel? The captain placed a reassuring hand on the back of Melody's head. Melody was planted firmly at Kimiko's side, grabbing tight to the captain's leg with both arms. Katashi glanced sheepishly at Melody before meeting the captain's gaze.
Sorry about that. I'm about to die, though. So can you forgive me this once, Captain?
Katashi looked at Captain playfully.
Of course.
The Captain did her best to force a smile.
I will have you know, Mr. Space Farmer, not that that is even a real job. I have arranged a way to cook you without needing to resort to what happened last time.
Ach nee, sie meint Sora. Ich dumm.
Oh?
You know, I spend so much time every week trying to come up with interesting ways for you all to die. And this is the thanks I get. You know I am not phoning this in, right? Why does no one appreciate my creativity?
Dice's anger suddenly turned to tears.
I even spend hours designing the deletion game rounds for you all.
Aww. Everyone in the room looked at each other, confused.
You don't ever have to play the same game twice, but still, no one thanks me.
Aww.
Aw, don't say that, Dai. I'm sure we all appreciate how hard you work for us.
Really?
Yeah.
Yoshiki!
The Captain gave Yoshiki a scathing look, causing Yoshiki to snap out of his momentary lapse in judgment.
Sorry. You know I can't handle it when people cry. Especially girls.
The Captain seemed both angered and baffled by his stupidity.
Excuse me, Captain, but Yoshiki and I were having a beautiful moment.
I turned her attention back to Yoshiki.
You know what, Yoshiki? I will remember your kindness.
Huh? Really?
Yeah. When I kill you, I will stay with you and cheer you on until you eventually stop breathing. I will even pretend to mourn for you. Isn't that sweet?
Yoshiki let out a nervous laugh.
Yeah, I guess it is. I appreciate it, Dai.
Katashi cleared his throat, reminding everyone of the task at hand.
Oh, how unthoughtful of me. I should be focusing on the man of the hour.
So, how exactly is this going to happen?
Well, first we will...
Wait, I don't want to know.
Ah, I hear you. You want to learn through experience.
I winked at Katashi.
Alright, everyone. Let's all head to the kitchen.
The kitchen? Dai, I hate to disappoint. That won't fit in the oven.
Shh, you already said you didn't want to know. Now onwards.
Everyone marched sullenly out of the dining hall towards the kitchen, which was close by. It wasn't even a few minutes that passed before we arrived.
Okay, so what I need is for everyone to stand on the outside of the kitchen. Don't go inside. Stay in the hallway.
Oh boy, wieder fan service. Everyone looked puzzled, but stood still in the hallway.
Now, Katashi, if you would please make your way into the kitchen. See? How fitting for the space farmer, am I right?
Katashi was entering the kitchen when he felt a tug on his arm.
I'm sorry.
Shizuka had tears streaming down her face, but she was still not lifting her head. Rather, she was looking at the floor.
Kiddo, I said it's more than okay. Now come on.
Katashi lifted her head with his hand under her chin to make eye contact.
What is our motto for failure? What happens when we fail?
You die?
Well, in this instance, yes. But, I mean in general. What happens when we fail?
Learn, retry, succeed.
That's right. We learn, we retry, and we succeed. I'm simply leaving the learning to you, kid. Make sure to win, okay?
Shizuka's tears dried up as she sniffled back further tears.
I'll do it. I'll win this whole thing.
That's the spirit.
Kakashi patted Shizuka on the head for the last time and then stepped into the kitchen.
Officer Ikari, you have served the Everett well, and we thank you for your service. Salute.
We all saluted Kakashi as the door for the kitchen was sealed off by Dai.
About time, people.
The kitchen has been locked down. Temperature control in the kitchen is no longer automated. Temperature control inside the kitchen is now set to complete a disinfection cycle. Huh? Disinfection cycle?
Oh, how rude of me. Sometimes I forget you ran away with your coward parents and know very little about this ship.
A disinfection cycle is an operation that can occur in any part of the ship.
It isolates a part of the ship and heats it up using the temperature control to kill any live viruses and bacteria.
Would the ship even be able to do that?
Why? Why? Isn't that obvious? Let's say we picked you up from space like we did, but you had, let's say, the bubonic plague. If we don't have a cure on board, we need to get rid of that real quick to limit infection to the other crew. So we would just quarantine you and your disease and cook you. Then no more you or disease.
That's so...
Back me up, Captain. You know the protocol.
Wait, really? If I was sick?
It isn't personal. I need to protect the crew, and if you did in fact have an infectious disease that could transfer to the other crew...
Would just kill me?
Enough! Who cares about you hypothetically dying? Katashi actually is, and all you care about is yourself! I don't care about what you have to say, just shut up!
Und wieder der Gamer Moment. The entire room fell quiet. In peripheral vision I could see Dai's smile growing. I stood in silence for almost half an hour. Uh-oh. Zeit für Fanservice. Disinfection cycle and kitchen complete. Temperature control has returned to normal. Also, wenn ihr jetzt nicht ein schön braun gebranntes Sixpack sehen wollt, kurz wegschauen.
I believe what the automated system means is, ding, dinner's ready.
The door to the kitchen swung open and there we saw Katashi. Jetzt wissen wir auch, was die Männer für Boxers tragen. He clearly had attempted to lower his body temperature and remove most of his clothes, but his shorts. His skin was a crispy brown color with slight charring. I'd never seen a human cooked, and I don't think I ever need it again. Surprisingly, there was an apple in his mouth that had weathered the cooking a bit better than he did. Did it fall off the bench? Or was he trying to have one last treat before death? Shizuka ran in once the door was open, immediately removing the apple from his mouth and trying to close his eyes, which wouldn't close.
Someone help me! He shouldn't just be left in here!
I wish I could, but you know, I am made of light.
Dai shrugged while smiling slyly. Shizuka attempted to move Katashi, but she rose so much smaller than he was. His body didn't even budge.
Move, damn it!
Shizuka became enraged. She was now flailing while tugging on his arm.
Shizuka, perhaps it would be best if you left him to us. We can take care of him.
What, like you took care of Katashi here? I think we can all agree that you're not taking care of anyone!
The captain's face winced at her words as the concern in her face melted away to reveal the stern captain had come to know.
Shizuka, return to your quarters at once.
No!
Refusing an order? This is getting interesting.
Shizuka was latched on pretty tightly to Katashi's arm at this point. The captain now was visibly irritated. She approached Shizuka and stood only inches from her.
Shizuka, you are to return to your quarters immediately.
So intense.
Shizuka's eye met with the captain's, and her moment of rebellion died.
Understood.
Shizuka let go of Katashi's arm and left the kitchen without looking at anyone on the way out.
Aw, and here I was hoping the two of you would fight. You're no fun, Captain.
Well, I am bored now. It's been fun. I will see you all tomorrow for the next round of the deletion games. Toodles!
Dai in her boredom stepped out of the kitchen and left the rest of the crew standing still.
Yoshiki, Nicholas, I trust that you two can move Katashi.
Of course. We'll see to it now.
Thank you. Everyone is dismissed. Feel free to do as you please for the remainder of the day. I will be in my quarters if anyone needs me.
The captain left the room and I followed suit. Chapter 3. So, ich würde kurz sagen, wir können hier kurz speichern. Könnten hier kurz Bidding Wars mit unserem Tod spielen. Dann ist es auch mal hier weg. So.
Yes.
Thank you.
Was?
Let's.
Okay.
And that. Enough of that.
Okay, hier gewinnen wir auch.
Yes.
Thank.
For your information. See,
Wonder if you would. It was a close one. Let's move on to round. One. Thank you. Wah! Let's team. You're 5.
we might be safe.
19-1.
Well, I gotta tell you, this. But rules of the fate, luck.
Don't.
Was?
No, this is absolute bull. There is no way that my team lost. Don't listen to her. She's lying.
Such a sore loser, Shizuka.
I clearly lost Shizuka, and I guess it's better than I die than you, Yoshiki.
Cut the crap. I don't lose.
Oh, sweetie. With an attitude like that, you'll always lose. Enough of the Shizuka show. It's time for the Dai show.
Let's spin that wheel.
Came back to myself enough that I was looking out of my own eyes as Dice's big wheel of murder appeared. She winked at me before reaching out and pretending to spin it. It spun fast, all a blur. Then I kept pretending like it was real, like she wasn't in control of everything. Then the wheel started slow, the text legible as one death after another flipped past the indicator, some of them clear and others ambiguous, drowning, disintegration, the squeeze.
Ooh, it's slowing down now. Anyone want to put a bet down?
Dice's suggestion was met with angry glares.
Just trying to lighten the mood. And we have a winner!
The wheel had stopped, big red arrow pointing to my fate.
Airlock Aeroplane! Congratulations! You're going to enjoy a quiet, relaxing time out in open space. No suit, obviously.
Would it hurt? I tried to remember as much as I could about vacuums. It wouldn't be like running out of air slowly. I'd go straight from an oxygenated environment into total vacuum. It had to damage my body, right? Maybe I'd die before I ran out of air.
To the airlock!
Or she could easily have vanished and reappeared at the airlock. They preferred to lead us there herself, pretending to be our tour guide.
And now if you look to your right, you will see the door to the kitchen. On your left, a blank wall. Very thrilling. Keep moving. And we're walking. Well now, ladies and gentlemen, this is very exciting. It looks like we'll be getting a glimpse of the infamous engineering bay. Unfortunately, we can't stop the tour here, so just take a peek as we're walking.
Shizuka and Yoshiki stood on either side of me, their responses in complete contrast.
Bestie, I'm so sorry. I promise we'll be together soon.
This has to be rigged. You shouldn't be dying right now. Someone from the other team should be.
What am I going to do without you?
Yoshiki continued sobbing while Shizuka seemed to somehow be getting angrier. Everything is going to work out. You two just need to have each other's back from now on, okay?
And here we are at our destination. Who would like to hear a long story about the history of the airlocks?
I'm sorry. I wish there was something I could do.
It's not your fault. Someone had to lose. Congratulations on the win.
You became a part of the crew so fast, even while Dai was trying to pit us all against each other.
I won't forget you.
yawn? I thought you didn't want to stall.
Has been with this crew for such a short time, but she became a part of us. She was kind, generous, and always willing to pitch in and help. She served with honor, and we will honor her for it.
Yoshiki reached out to hug me and he held on tight when it began to pull away. This was it. It was real. I was confronted directly with death. I actually felt pretty calm about it. Maybe because there was nothing left to do, no reason to fight, no plea I could make. I was about to die, and everything was out of my control. Then I remembered the pocket watch. Here, Yoshiki. Something to remember me by.
That means thank you in Yoshiki.
The captain pulled Yoshiki, grasping the watch, into a hug.
All right, let's get on with this. Time's ticking by. I got places to be, people to kill.
The airlock door opened with a hiss, and I took a step towards it. Then I turned around. I felt right somehow, after what she said about me. I saluted the captain.
Officer, you have served the Everett well, and we thank you for your service. Salute.
As I stepped backwards into the airlock, I could see the rest of the crew standing still in a salute. Fast. Both Yoshiki and Shizuka watched on in tears. It made me feel worse somehow, like it was my fault. Shizuka ist männlich geworden. I'm sorry I failed everyone. This wasn't real. It wasn't happening. But it was. From the speakers I heard the overhead system count down. Airlock secured. External door opening in 3, 2, 1. Yoink. Door opening. Game over. So. Dann gehen wir wieder in Chapter 3. Katashi's image was seared into my brain, making sleep an impossibility. I could still smell the aftermath of the game. The pungent stench of charred human flesh was not something I ever wanted to revisit, even in my mind. I needed a distraction, so I decided to take refuge in the rec room. Probably wouldn't even take the edge off the pain, but at least watching a movie would stop me from seeing Katashi everywhere I looked and every time I closed my eyes. I arrived to find that the... Warum ist das die traurige Musik? I arrived to find that the TV was already occupied. Shizuka sat, staring intently at the screen, her face a wet mask of tears. She continued to watch as if I wasn't there. Hey, Shizuka? Shizuka didn't turn to face me. I was wondering... Das... keine gute Idee, Junge. Das ist auch schlecht. What are you watching? Maximal das Beste. Is this a famous movie? What type of...
Please stop talking!
I saw you were upset and thought...
And are you not upset?
What? Of course I am. I can't sleep because I'm so upset.
Your team chose to kill Katashi. Why would you be as upset as I am?
Wait, what? Hä? Your team chose to kill Katashi? Hä? Sie war in unserem Team. Wir haben gewonnen und Katashi hat... Hä? Shizuka, that's not fair and you know it. Shizuka's voice started to waver.
Neither is Katashi not being here anymore.
Pained silence fell over the room. I had to break the stalemate somehow. Gott, keiner sonst mir hat gerade eine gute Zeit. Nicholas hat die Beatrix verloren und Shizuka verliert jetzt Katashi. Shizuka, I'm sorry. Shizuka finally looked me in the eye. Her face was softer than before.
I'm watching Katashi's favorite movie.
Shizuka indicated to the seat next to her. I took the hint and said.
It's called Sisyphean.
Bitte was? Ist das ein richtiger Film? Oh.
It's called Sisyphean.
Ach, Sisyphus. Was? Hat die Sisyphus arbeiten? Okay. Oh. What's it about?
It's about a man in love and his struggle to reach his happily ever after. It's a very romantic movie.
Wow, Jag. War das wirklich nötig? Do you like romantic movies? She sort of smiled as she whipped the tears from her eyes.
Not really, but Katashi couldn't get enough of them. This movie was his favorite, though.
Why's that?
I'm not really sure, but I think it might be because of me.
Oh, how's that?
This movie was originally a video game that got a movie adaptation.
Oh nein. So it was a game first?
Yeah, Katashi might have thought that would appeal to me more, so he would always get me to watch it with him.
And did you?
I sat with him once while he watched it, but I was playing video games at the same time.
Wow. That's schon ein bisschen rude. Shizuka continued, holding back tears.
I should have just watched it with him, even once. I should have been there for him. And now, I'll never get the chance again.
Shika's dam burst, paused the movie and scooched closer to her for a hug. Shizuka began calming down in my arms. I'm sure he was grateful even having to sit next to him. I know that I am. Gott, wir machen uns doch nicht hier an sie ran in der Timeline. Junge. Shizuka pulled away from me just enough that she should lock eyes with me.
Really?
I nodded sincerely.
Thank you. I really needed to hear that.
Anytime. Shizuka snuggled back in closer and started the movie from the beginning. About 2 hours later, the movie's credits rolled. I had enjoyed the plot. It made me think about our limited time on Earth and having no regrets about how we used it.
Thank you for watching with me.
It was my pleasure. I really enjoyed it.
Me too. I think I can see why it was his favorite.
Yeah, me too.
I especially like the part where he was eaten by a giant cat.
How long have you been there, Dai?
Long enough to know that movie was actually pretty good.
You like romantic movies?
Wait, that was a romantic movie?
Yeah?
Huh. Then I guess I do. I always knew I was a romantic at heart.
Who would have thought?
So why are you here?
It's time for the new deletion game explanation.
We should go to the dining hall?
Bingo!
Alright, let's just tidy up here.
Oh, honey, I do love how submissive you are.
Dai cackled as she zapped out of the room. Shizuka and I put everything back where it belonged, still bathing in the warm afterglow of a good movie. At the dining hall, the entire crew was already assembled.
About time, you two.
Huh?
We have been waiting for almost an hour now.
What? Really?
But we only just got told to come here.
Guilty as charged.
What is the meaning of this, Dai?
Well, I went to collect these two, but they were watching a movie. I was going to interrupt it, but then I got hooked and finished watching the movie with them.
Seriously? We have all been wasting our time here for over an hour while you watched a movie?
The captain was not pleased with the situation, and it showed.
Capitan, need I remind you who's in charge here?
Dai pointed at herself haughtily. The captain's eyes twitched.
Never mind that. How dare you waste my crew's precious time?
But
in the future, you will refrain from this nonsense.
Wir haben hier gerade ein Death Game. Das Schlimmste ist 1 Stunde Zeit verbrauchen. Was für Prioritäten.
again, I'm in charge.
The captain's face took on such a menacing appearance that all the lights in the room seemed to go dark.
Your fun only
Uh-oh.
lasts while there are crew members to play with. Push your luck any further with me, Dai, and I will take away that which gives you pleasure.
What? Was the captain threatening to kill us? Just to spite Dai?
Captain,
Nicholas placed his hand on the captain's shoulder. She reeled at his touch and her head snapped around as if released from a trance.
I'm sorry, Captain.
Dai, apologizing? What kind of fresh hell was this?
In the future, I will not waste your time, Captain. On that note, let's get down to the explanation of the new game. Allow me to welcome you all to the new round of the deletion game, Vampire Children. Vampire Children is played over 3. Now, be careful.
Any question? Excellent.
I suddenly sat out of the room and the broadcast opened overhead, where we could all hear Dai using her best customer service voice.
We understand that you have a choice in deletion game carrier and want to thank you all so much for choosing the Die Deletion game service. We murder for your satisfaction, and we look forward to servicing you again this Sunday.
Oh. Keine Afterszene hier. Interessant. Kaname Datte. Uh-oh. I could hear the captain calling my name. Why couldn't I see her, though? Kaname Datte. Captain, is that you?
Yes, wake up.
I can't see you. I heard the captain sigh deeply.
Open your eyes.
I opened my eyes to find the scowling captain looming over me.
I think you have been spending too much time with Yoshiki.
Wait, what? What's wrong? For that matter, what time is it? Hey.
It's 4:30 in the morning. I have come to request your counsel.
It must be pretty important to wake me this early. It's just $200 for the first hour, and then $50 an hour afterwards. Captain's stern face twitched, and before I knew it, she broke into a laugh.
I haven't heard anyone trying to barter using actual money for the longest time.
What do you mean?
We all live and die on the ship. Currency and trading systems aren't exactly required.
So when was the last time you hear anyone talk about money?
That would be my father. He used to always pick up a phone and say, buy, buy, sell, sell, as if he were a stockbroker.
Bist du gerade so leise?
He would also make bets with me for money that simply doesn't exist.
The captain laughed sadly to herself.
Sorry, I'm getting off track. The reason I am here...
So, was ist
It's
denn? Why are you awake?
because I am not asleep.
No, I mean, why are you not asleep? Why are you not asleep?
Oh, I am performing the duties of a captain. Duties I must be awake to perform.
What duties?
I am doing my daily morning check of system operations,
What does that entail exactly?
ensuring that life support systems are functioning properly, checking our supply levels, and establishing the accuracy of our navigation equipment. The latter is the reason why I am here. Please make yourself presentable and meet me on the bridge in 5 minutes. I did.
Who?
I attempted to ask Shizuka for her counsel, considering the nature of the issue. She outright refused to get out of bed.
Can't you just order her out?
I have tried that many times. She seems to be immune to authority.
Very well. What can I help you with then?
Please make yourself present.
Okay,
I did. That would be. He would also make bets with me for. Sorry, I'm getting off track. The reason I am here. Please make yourself presentable and meet me on the bridge in 5 minutes.
The captain turned and left. I hurried to make myself somewhat presentable, and 4 minutes later, I was there on the bridge. Alright, Captain, you have my undivided attention. What's the problem?
Just over a week ago, I made the choice to stay on course towards the black hole.
Yeah, I remember. And your argument made sense, so what's the problem?
We will be at the closest point to the black hole tomorrow just after 4 a.m. and...
Shizuka will handle it.
I-
Are you worried that you've made the wrong choice?
People are already dying on my watch. I don't want to sentence the entire crew to death at once.
Captain, no one is going to die being this close to the black hole. As Shizuka said, we should miss the event horizon which, as you know, is the point of no return in a black hole. We won't get stuck, we won't die. The captain did not look convinced. His understanding of black holes meant that worst case scenario, while navigating through its gravitational pull, we might experience time dilation, but even then, it shouldn't be observable from us.
Time dilation?
To put it simply, time passes slower for those closer to a black hole than those farther away from it. So a day to us might in fact be a year for others further away, but theoretically we shouldn't even notice. The captain started looking even more concerned. Nothing I was saying was helping her. Maybe I was making it worse. Father always said that people are like parrots. They love their own reflections and their own voices. Maybe that's what he meant? Here goes. Ahem, Captain. Would you rather have a 100% chance of death or a 50% chance? The captain's very demeanor quickly melted away, and she turned her gaze to me.
Wise words. I wonder where you got them from. But you are right, and so was I. Not chancing the black hole is a death sentence in itself.
See, all better. No point worrying about what you can't control. We either die by black hole or by a psychotic AI system. Both noble deaths. The captain looked stern for a moment before breaking into a laugh.
Noble indeed. Thank you for the laugh and for your counsel.
You're most welcome. Now if you excuse me, I have a bed awaiting me. I descended from the bridge and let my sleepy body navigate back to bed on autopilot. It wasn't long before I was fast asleep. Oops. A sudden jab to my cheek brought me to.
Hey, wake up!
I stirred to see Shizuka perched on the side of my bed, continuing to poke me in the face. Really? Can't a girl sleep around here without someone ruining it every night?
That's why I'm here.
This has better be good.
I know that the captain woke you up this morning in my place, and I wanted to make it up to you. Besides, it's practically dinner time.
Come again? I shot out of bed, snatching up my tablet as I pulled on clothes. She was right, it was almost 5 p.m. I slept through the entire day.
You must have really needed it.
I don't have time to sleep for days. I might have just wasted my last day alive.
I would have woken you up sooner, but
But what? Shizuka looked very bashful.
just woke up too.
I sighed. I guess we're both equally hopeless.
Yeah, but at least we're hopeless together. That's 1,000 times better than being lonely.
I guess you're right.
Well, now that we're both awake, how about we do something with what's left of the day?
Like what?
Well, I was thinking that maybe we could play some games.
Haha, I'm not surprised.
So, you in?
Damn straight.
Yes! I'll go get everything set up for us.
Let me run through the shower and grab some research material to read while we play. I'll be there in half an hour. Shizuka could barely contain herself, gelling out her reply to me as she was already halfway to the hallway.
See you soon!
I shot through the shower and grabbed the box of research from the lab on the way to the rec room.
It's probably a good thing you brought some work to do.
Why's that?
Well, tonight we'll be playing The Letter. And it's only one player, so we'll have to take turns.
Wir spielen wirklich ein Horror-Visual Novel. Auch wieder schön reingesteckt. I guess everything has worked out perfectly then. I smiled and took the seat next to Shizuka as the game's opening screen came to life. I sifted through papers, reading more of my parents' work as Shizuka sat glued to the TV. I pulled the pocket watch out and stared at it once more. It still looked exactly as it did last time I saw it. I sighed with disappointment. More than an hour passed and I still didn't get a turn. Shizuka was quite a hawk, it seemed. When is it my turn? Ja, wenn ich sterbe.
Like, when it's your turn.
That doesn't even make sense. So how will I know?
Almost done. Hang on.
A few minutes later, Shizuka finally ripped herself away from the game and reluctantly handed me the controller.
There. You happy?
I am, thank you. I realized very quickly that, because I had been studying my notes, I was not sure what was happening in the game. So, Shizuka? Ah. If you could dare anything, what would you do?
I would go to the mansion and talk to Luke.
What? No, not in the game. I mean in real life.
Oh, that's easy.
Play video games. Really, go on then.
I'd be a necromancer.
I meant a career, but sure. Let's go with that. Why exactly?
Not only would that mean I have magic abilities, but it means I could bring Katashi back to life.
Wouldn't he be a zombie?
Well, I only know about necromancy from video games, but I think if we brought him back, he could still cook.
You just want more cake, don't you?
Guilty as charged.
Shizuka and I both laughed at the image of a zombie Katashi serving us cakes. I knew that she wanted more than just his cooking, but any small respite was welcome. So, other than video games, what else do you enjoy?
What else is there?
Es gibt noch Anime und Serien, Filme. Do you like music? Oder das?
Not really.
Do you like cooking?
Nope.
Studying? Hell no.
Absolutely not.
Do you like taking baths? Was?
I only take baths because I have to.
Must be able to think of something that you like.
I'm not sure if it counts, but I like hair brushing.
Hair brushing?
Yeah, when we were younger, the captain would brush my hair while I played games. I liked that a lot.
So that doesn't happen anymore? Aww.
Nah, not for a long time. The captain just got busier and sterner, and I just stayed the same, I guess. I started getting frustrated that she was always too busy for me, and we just sorta drifted apart.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. These things happen, and besides, I have you now.
Aww. That you do. So.
Yeah, I'm not. Not what?
So, do we think we will make it to the end?
I haven't failed to finish a game once. I'm not about to start now.
I meant the deletion game. Do you think we'll make it?
I don't know about you, but I have no plans to lose.
She's gonna put on her best game face. Well, let's hope for my sake that I'm on your team. Shizuka and I played well into the early hours of the morning. Shizuka had fallen asleep in her chair by 3 AM, but I've powered through, only to be rewarded with one of the game's worst possible endings. I hope this isn't an omen. I looked at the time. 4:17 AM. It was well past time to get Shizuka and myself off to our respective beds. As I moved to pack up, a light peeked out from the box containing my research material. I rubbed my eyes to ensure that I wasn't hallucinating. If I didn't know better, I would say that the watch was... It's on. I'm not imagining things. It's definitely on. Shizuka didn't stir. Adrenaline flowed my body, and my mind grew giddily with excitement. I was overwhelmed with emotion as I held our salvation in my hands, considering what to do next. Push the button. Without any hesitation, I pressed the buttons. No longer did I hear that all too familiar buzzing sound that marked my failure. The world went black. So, ich denke, hier sollten wir ein Codewort kriegen. I woke up, finding myself on the floor of the rec room, dazed, confused and feeling extremely nauseous. I sat up, greeted with the fact that neither Shizuka nor the precious box of research were anywhere to be seen. I suddenly appeared out of nowhere.
I am registering sounds of distress in your vocal tone. Are you alright?
I'm fine, just feeling a bit queasy. Got to my feet, requiring a lot more effort than I was prepared for.
Very well. I have other matters to attend to.
I gathered what wits I could muster and navigated my way back to my room. I lay in my bed for a moment, taking the time to let my body settle. I noticed the time flashing at me from the bedside. Just after 8 AM. Not long before the next game then. I was in the middle of trying to recall exactly what the deletion game rules were when my door buzzed. Come in. Through the doorway came a young woman with long, straight black hair and unmatching eyes. She wore the same uniform as me.
I have some good news and some bad news.
So, dich haben wir glaube ich noch nicht gesehen. Oh Gott, sie hat Heterochromia. Elizabeth, how do you know my name? The woman stopped dead in her tracks.
Are you okay?
Yeah, she was clearly in a rush to bring me the news. She didn't stay phased for long.
The good news is, I've uncovered another clue to the deactivation code for Dai. I was able to access partial records from the date of the incident and recover the letters AD.
Da haben wir es, AD. Aber, hatten wir das nicht schon? Per Aspera ad Astra. Habe ich das... Still die? You have a piece of the code?
That is what I just said.
Suddenly I appeared in a room, addressing the young woman.
Elizabeth, you have been requested in the lab.
By whom?
Kaname Date. Uh-oh. She looked at me quizzically, her brain clearly processing this news at light speed before replying.
Thank you, Ai. Please tell her I will be there presently.
Very well.
I bowed and disappeared.
I know what's going on here.
You do?
You have traveled here using the pocket watch. Am I correct in this assumption?
The watch worked?
It would appear so. I have been working alongside you. Well, you in the lab for some time. And so I'm well versed in your research.
This is fantastic news. Not only this, but you have a piece of the deactivation code.
Well, it isn't so much the code as a small piece of the larger puzzle.
Oh wait, this is a huge progress.
Well, it's nice to meet you. My name is Elizabeth, and I'm a computer programmer on the Everett. It seems safe to assume that I don't exist in your dimension, considering your lack of recognition when we met.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Must have seemed pretty rude.
I understand the confusion, so please, don't worry about it.
Elizabeth was silent for a moment, deep in thought.
If you wouldn't mind, could you please remain here in your quarters while I go speak to the captain about the situation? I think it would be best to not have you two together on the bridge just yet.
Of course, I'll gladly wait here. Elizabeth smiled and left the room. I looked around, surprised at how different the room actually looked from my own. This Dimensions me was a real pig. 10 minutes later, Elizabeth returned.
Thank you for waiting. The captain is on her way to see you now.
Did she take it well?
Yes, very well, in fact.
Uh-oh. That's great. As soon as the words were out of my mouth, the captain arrived.
Thank you for joining us.
It's so good to see you, Captain.
We should work together in solving both the dye and resource crisis.
Uh-oh. Completely agree.
But first, let us all go to the dining room to discuss our plans further in a more suitable environment.
I nodded my consent and followed them both down the corridor. Many of the crew were assembled in the dining hall already, including some familiar faces. Beatrix, Katashi.
How can I help you, sailor?
Hearing Beatrix's voice again was surreal. I felt myself getting choked up at the mere sound. I imagined that no one had ever been this happy to see a Beatrix. Wow. That's rude. Nothing, just nice to see you. Beatrix gave me a rather confused smile before turning back to a conversation with Nicholas, who was seated directly beside her.
Please, take a seat.
I did so, and the captain did the same.
I have the pocket watch here, and so can confirm your dimension.
I patted my pockets, realizing in horror that the pocket watch was nowhere inside. I can't find mine.
Yours?
My pocket watch.
Pocket watches do not carry over dimensions with you.
They don't?
No, you explained that to me, as well as told me that this number here is your dimension, and this one here is ours.
The captain pointed at the pocket watch as he described each number.
So you have come from dimension
72? So this must be 22?
Correct.
Suddenly the proceedings were interrupted by Dai stepping into the room.
What in the world is happening here? Are you all so eager to die? I usually have to drag you all kicking and screaming for the deletion game.
The deletion game is happening right now.
What's wrong with them?
Blow to the head.
Regardless, with everyone, let's start the game.
What game? Dai seemed confused by my question.
What game?
Is it Vampire Children?
Yup, and has been for almost a week.
Okay. Of course. But we're missing Kaname Date.
Seriously, what is wrong with you?
Oh Gott, sie werden mich wieder umbringen. You should be playing, not me. Dai looked incredulously at the captain, who simply shrugged her shoulders. Captain, you know I'm not from here. Tell Dai where the other me is.
Sorry, Dai. I am unsure what she is talking about. I think the pressure has just gotten to her.
Wow. No, there's no pressure. She's lying. Pointed at the captain, my index finger shaking, uncontrollable with rage.
Ooh, accusing the captain of lying? This is getting heated, and I love it.
She came to me and told me she was chosen as a vampire. When I declined to be her Clyde, she lost her mind with anger, and has been acting like this ever since.
This never happened, and you know it.
I know you enjoy games, Dai, but we have all decided not to breed with her already. So why not just jump to the execution?
Fucking verkauft hier, Alter.
Wait, what? Really? You're happy with me just killing her?
It would simply be a waste of our time otherwise.
I think we finally agreed on something, Capitan. Feels nice, like we're bonding.
I'm not Kaname Date. I'm Kaname Date. Into my own ears, I sounded insane.
Wow. Get a grip. Or not. To the shuttle bay!
I cackled as Beatrix and Nicholas laid their hands on me and dragged me, kicking and screaming the whole way to the shuttle bay. I'm not from here. The other me must be hiding.
You know, I had bets on who would snap under the pressure, but
Wow, was I wrong there?
You're killing the wrong run, Kaname-date. Nicholas and Beatrix threw me into the decompression chamber, the small airlock between us and an infinite open space.
Have fun in space! Continue screaming out there. See if anyone can hear you.
I see you all in hell. Seconds later, the airlock door opened, and instantly the air in my lungs was sucked straight out of me, my body careening out into space right after. I was barely conscious for more than a moment before blackness swallowed both me and my silent screams. We dead. Habe ich das Passwort falsch eingegeben? Also es ist doch das Schiffsmotto. Ad Astra per Aspera. Oder vielleicht andersrum. Per Aspera ad Astra. Ja, können wir gleich mal ausprobieren. Don't push any button. Chapter 4. I wasn't thinking straight. This was no time to be randomly pushing buttons. I returned the watch to my pocket. Shizuka snored loudly, snapping me out of my contemplation. Drool ran down her chin in slow rivulets. Shizuka, wake up. She stirred and moaned, but it would take more than just that to get her up. Plead with her. Shizuka, please get up. This much sleep can't be good for you.
But I've always slept this long.
There might be still time to change your ways and prevent you from falling into eternal slumber.
Eternal slumber. That sounds nice.
I tapped my foot in irritation. Shizuka knew how to test my patience outright. Shizuka, if you don't get out of this chair right now, I'm going to step on your console. Wow. Shizuka flinched, but her eyes stayed stubbornly shut.
I know you would never do that.
How certain are you? Shizuka decided this wasn't worth the risk and opened her eyes in panic.
Fine! You win this time, you big bully!
So, yell at her. I finished Unicorn's revenge. She shot off the chair up like someone had just pressed an ejector seat underneath the cushion.
No, that's my game!
Really now? You upset because I played your game? I thought you'd be impressed that I'd finish it.
My game! I wanted to be the one to finish it!
But wouldn't it be an amazing feat if I actually did?
Wait! So you didn't beat it?
No, I just said it. I did in order to wake you up.
Oh, of course you didn't. Silly me.
You'd really be that upset at me?
Don't worry about that. It didn't happen, so nothing I did just then counts.
Shizuka attempted and failed to stifle a huge yawn before leaving the rec room.
No!
Hold her nose until she wakes up. I reached out my hand, clamping her nose shut. She struggled and started whining in irritation. I'll let you go if you get up. She batted my hand off her face with her flaying limbs, but the damage was done. She was as wide awake and alert as it was possible to be.
You suck, you know that. I was so comfy.
Sleeping in a chair can't be good for you.
Nag, 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 nag.
Now that wasn't very nice, Shizuka. Shizuka attempted and failed to stifle a huge yawn before leaving the rec room.
Fine! You win this time, you big bully.
She rose up, zombie-like and swaying side to side like a pendulum. There, that wasn't so hard, now was it? Shizuka attempted and failed to stifle a huge yawn before leaving the rec room.
Night.
Alright, problem number 1 solved. Now to get better rested so that the watch problem wouldn't seem so daunting. I picked up my parents' reshirts and plodded dreamily back to my quarters. I left the watch on the bedside table and slid into bed, which received me like a long-lost friend. Despite the flurry of thoughts in my head, I was asleep within minutes. Hey, Kaname Datte. Huh? What?
I think your alarm clock thingy is broken.
What alarm? I slowly cracked open my eyes to see Dai staring quizzically at something on the bedside table. I set up at light speed, making Dai look at me oddly. I stopped myself, knowing that I shouldn't draw too much attention to myself by acting strange. I casually picked up the watch from where it lay. Oh yeah, that alarm clock. Weird, it's not making any noise. I wonder what's wrong with it.
You should get Yoshiki to fix it.
That's a very helpful suggestion. Thanks, Dai. I'll go and do that right away. I cocked my head, suspicious of how quickly she had been taken in by my not at all convincing acting abilities.
I know how clumsy he is. I was hoping that he might electrocute himself while taking it apart.
And here I was thinking you were being helpful.
He might still fix it by giving his life heroically, and then we both win.
I would rather it remain broken and him alive.
That's because you're selfish. You're only ever thinking of yourself.
I'm too tired for this, Dai.
Well, that's your fault for being up so late, isn't it?
How did you know I was up late?
I'll give you a hint. It starts with an S and ends in a Hizuka.
Wait, Yoshiki told you?
You really do crack me up.
So, might as well tell me why you're here.
I'm here to assign your role for today's deletion game.
I totally forgot that the game was about to begin. I'd been so preoccupied with the watch. I sighed and prepared myself for the worst.
Now, it's not that bad. In fact, I would say...
What? What will you say, Dai?
I can't lie to you. I'm sorry.
Oh god, I'm the vampire, aren't I?
What? No.
Then why are you sorry?
I'm sorry because you're a human.
But that's good, right?
Clearly you don't quite grasp the coolness factor of vampires. Frankly, I'm disappointed.
Yes, that's it. I hadn't accounted for the coolness factor.
Interesting vampire coming your way. Although Christian religious symbols such as crosses and holy water are often associated with combating vampires, Christianity didn't exist until thousands of years after the first vampire tales were told.
Don't you have any useful information for me?
Okay. In some cultures, those born with red hair were considered the most likely to be vampires.
How does that help?
Maybe it's a hint about who on this ship is a vampire.
I winked and tapped her nose knowingly.
Well, this has been nice, but I need to continue my rounds. Last stop, El Capitan.
I strode right through my door, flickering as you crossed the boundary. Relief rushed over me as you departed, and then ebbed immediately as next deletion game drew closer. At least I'm not a vampire. Perfect. At least I think it is. The watch was returned to its place back on my bedside table. I had to keep my mind on the task at hand. The PA system crackled to life overhead.
Thank you all for your cooperation. You are now free to pass the time as you please. The game will commence in 2 hours. Good luck!
Alright, time to talk to the crew and work out a game's strategy. Before the thought had even fully formed, I appeared and put an end to that.
We need to speak.
Oh, aye, good morning.
I do not have long. Come to the server room.
I sat out of my quarters, leaving me quite confused. I'd never heard her sound quite so human. She seemed worried, a side of her I hadn't really seen before. Looked at a tablet to locate the server room. I'd never been there. It wasn't long that I had the location and made my way there.
She is I discovered that you can't. This is your only chance. Once you always.
Falsch. Right outside my door, Shizuka was awaiting my return, bouncing on her heels in an agitated fashion.
About time.
What are you doing there? Here?
I wanted to tell you something. Something for your trusted ears alone.
Go on.
Promise not to tell? Cross your heart and hope to die?
Of course, Shizuka.
Lower your voice. I'll tell you inside.
Shizuka put her hands on my shoulders and marched me inside. The door slid shut behind us, Shizuka not taking her eyes off of it until it was fully sealed. So, tell me this big secret of yours.
I'm the vampire, and I was hoping that you would...
Shizuka's gaze must have spotted the watch illuminating my room from its spot on the table, because a wild, excited look suddenly overcame her features.
What's that?
She darted around me, snatching the watch up, and jumped onto my bed. I threw my hands up in the air as a sign of my utter resignation. There was going to be no coaxing her down once she was in this state. Shizuka, please be careful. It's not a toy. Shizuka now was bouncing up and down at light speed, eyes fixated on a glowing face.
Why does it have a light on? What's this button for? What does it do? Can I have a turn with it? Where do I get one? Where do you plug it in to recharge?
Shizuka continued with her machine gun fire questions, clearly not about to stop anytime soon. If she accidentally pressed that button, we could be in real trouble. I had to defuse the situation, and fast. Tackle her! Tackle her? Couldn't take any chances. She had to be stopped now. I leapt at Shizuka, aiming for her legs and trying to topple her so that the watch would be within reach, but she was too fast for me. She jumped between the bed and the couch, obviously under the impression that this was some kind of game. Shizuka grinned like a dopey puppy as she pressed the first button she could lay her hands on. The pocket watch let out an unfamiliar noise, and before I could do anything, Shizuka dissipated before my eyes, just like I and I do. The watch fell from where her hand just was and bounced gently on the bed's mattress a few times before coming to rest. The watch's face was now revealing numbers behind the panels, the left reading 72 and the right 22. Shizuka? Shizuka! And then I looked around the room for her, knowing what I just saw, but a part of me was hoping it wasn't true. Pink. Pink. I have no real choice. I can tell the captain that I accidentally lost Shizuka or I can go after her. I gulped nervously as I held the watch in my hands, pressed my eyes shut and pressed the button. I gasped for air but found none. Opening my eyes rewarded me with the sight of infinite sprawling nothingness as far as the eye could see. Out of the corner of my eye I saw the pocket was floating just out of reach. Oh. War sie in der Dimension einfach in space? With the last shred of breath in my lungs I tried to propel myself towards it, but it was such a feeble effort that I may as well have savored that last lungful a bit longer. A lifeless Shizuka hovered above, blue skin snap frozen by the relentless cold of space. What had gone wrong? I tried to tell Shizuka that we would have lived if we played the game. Well, we'll never know now. Uff. Warte. Warum ist ein Happy Face? Achso, ich war auf der falschen Zeitlinie. Was ist Geschlecht? I have no idea. So. Please give it back. Ah, fetch. Please give it back. Shizuka just passed it back here to me now.
Why do you seem so worried?
I don't think pressing those buttons is a good idea, Shizuka. The object isn't something...
Why?
Shizuka, it could be very bad.
Only one way to find out.
Tja, wieder dasselbe. So, gucken, was beim letzten passiert. Shizuka, could I please be your Clyde? Shizuka stopped bouncing immediately.
Really? You'd risk everything to play two-player with me?
Aww. Of course, there's no one on the ship I'd rather team up with. Shizuka's face radiated pure happiness.
We will definitely win. I know we will.
Of course. So why don't you come down here?
Right after this.
Shizuka grinned like a dopey puppy as she pressed the first button she could lay her hands on. Oof. So. Ad Astra Aspera. Was ist daran noch falsch? Oder weiß das Game einfach, ab wann man die alle Wörter hatte? Ich weiß immer noch, ich will es halt nicht gucken. Das wäre... The terminal keyword is case sensitive. Please use lowercase case for all operations. Input not recognized. Ha. Okay. Damit hätten wir dann heute diesen Strang geschafft. Und wir können hier kurz Lachi-Ship noch ausspielen. Also Beatrix und Katashi sind schon gestorben. Selbstmord hatten wir auch schon. Was ist, wenn wir zum Beispiel auf die 5 schießen? Ups. Hä? Oh, das war einfach weitergeskippt. Ich muss das wohl ausmachen. Okay.
Thank you for your. Please exit the in an unexpected turn. Let's get straight to the results.
Ah, so, Wladimir. Du bist also Nummer 3. Warte.
Let's get straight to the results.
Ha, niemand hat auf Melody geschossen.
Better me than Melody, I guess.
Papa, what is it?
Sweetie, Papa has to go and join Mommy for a while, okay?
Melody's face fell as she realized what was happening. Tears began to form in the corners of her eyes.
No, Papa, stay.
Captain, I'm going to entrust Melody to your care, okay?
Of course. I'll do my best to keep her safe.
No, Papa, I'm scared. Please don't go.
Melody's desperation was palpable as she implored her father not to go. Vladimir picked up Melody, doing his best to comfort her under the circumstances.
Don't go, please. I'll be better.
Sweetie, you haven't done anything wrong.
I promise I'll eat my vegetables. I won't fight anymore. I'll pick up my toys. I promise, Papa. I promise.
Melody.
Please don't go with Mommy. Stay with me instead.
Oh, how touching. Sorry to disappoint, kiddo, but your daddy has a date with the wheel!
With that, Dice summoned the dreaded wheel and gave it a spin. Eventually, the arrow slowed and came to rest on drinking.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
Vladimir, and might I say I added this one just for you. Today you shall face death by drinking.
Is this a joke, Dai?
What? No.
Vladimir, you're going to spend your last moments enjoying your favorite beverage, vodka.
I can think of worse ways to go.
See, Captain? I do so much for you guys. Even when I go through all the trouble of adding fun new ways to die, all you do is complain. This is why you'll never get a boyfriend.
Dice stuck her tongue out at the captain.
Well, let's head over to the kitchen together.
They marched us all to the kitchen. Melody tearfully clung to Vladimir the entire way. There.
Here we are.
Alright, sweetie. It's time to go to the captain.
Melody screamed and refused to let go.
Melody, please. Kimiko will take care of you, okay? Everything will be fine.
Vladimir peeled Melody off of him and handed her over to the captain.
Alright, Dai. How do you want me to do this?
Such a gentleman. Well, good sir, I need you to get your blood alcohol concentration up to about 0.45. Now, would you be a dear and go get the vodka from the pantry so we can get started?
Vladimir walked over and grabbed the 1.5-liter bottle of vodka from the pantry.
Excellent! So, taking into account your weight and sex,
Dai rubbed her chin pensively for a moment before replying.
you need to drink about 1 liter within an hour period to reach a lethal BAC of 0.45. There are 1.5 liters in there, so 1 bottle should be more than enough.
Doch nicht von den Russen.
An hour seems a bit too long, though.
Chug it.
Oh, I have an idea. Why don't you just down the bottle all at once?
Challenge accepted.
Wow, really? Man, this is fun.
Vladimir hefted the bottle and paused to examine it. His eye took on a distant, wistful expression as he absent-mindedly traced the contours of the bottle.
I remember when Sora and I used to drink together. Australians and their alcohol. She taught me this drinking song that Australians like to sing before slugging back their drinks. I'll see you shortly, dear. This is for you.
Vladimir lifted his bottle of vodka in salute. He cleared his throat.
Here's to Vladimir. He's true blue. He's a piece pot through and through. He's a legend, so they say. Should have gone to heaven, but he went the other way. Singing down, 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 down.
With those words, Vladimir began chugging the entire bottle of vodka. He managed to finish it in just a minute or two.
What a time to be alive! That was amazing, Vladimir.
I applauded him enthusiastically.
Now we get to sit back and enjoy the show. Don't be shy, he isn't dead yet. Please go about your day as normal in this room under my supervision. Come to think of it, I guess that would be pretty difficult, huh? Silly me.
Beatrix made her way to the pantry and pulled out a second, smaller bottle.
What's that?
Vodka, what do you think it is?
Why do you need vodka?
It's rude to let a man drink alone.
Beatrix, you were always one of my favorites.
Beatrix took a seat at the center island opposite Vladimir.
Would you like another drink?
One more won't hurt now, will it?
I guess not.
Beatrix poured herself a drink, along with another for Vladimir. It wasn't long before the alcohol started taking effect. The rest of us could do a little more than stand around the kitchen, unable to leave and powerless to prevent Vladimir's death.
Melody, sweetie, listen to Kimiko, okay?
Melody had stopped crying and was now more confused than anything else.
Okay, Papa.
Dai, you really shock. You know that?
Don't say things you can't take back.
Dai pretended to be offended by Vladimir's insult.
I don't want to take it back.
Yeah, Dai, you suck.
Dai raised an eyebrow in Beatrix's direction.
You haven't been handed a death sentence just yet, Beatrix, but don't tempt me.
Beatrix looked at Dai before bursting into laughter.
Don't look so serious, Dai. You'll give yourself wrinkles.
Really? That would be horrible.
Dai started fussing with her face, trying to prevent the onset of wrinkles. 20 minutes later, and an extra few bottles of wine, which Beatrix and Vladimir explained was for good measure, Vladimir took his last breath.
Well, that sure got boring towards the end, didn't it? I guess I can't have fun all the time, right? Either way, everyone is free to leave. Class dismissed.
Well, it was fun, comrade.
Beatrix tipped her glass at Vladimir before falling off her chair, stone drunk.
Alright, Beatrix. It's time I got you into bed.
Nicholas hoisted Beatrix off the floor and began to carry her out of the kitchen. Before he could proceed very far, however, Beatrix began poking his face with her extended forefinger.
Why are you always so serious, Nikki?
Because one of us needs to be. Say goodnight, Beatrix.
Good night.
Nicholas carried Beatrix out of the kitchen while the captain tried to explain to Melody the gravity of the situation.
Melody, your father's gone to sleep, but he won't be waking up.
What?
He's gone to go see your mother now, so you should say goodnight to him and come with me.
Although Melody looked confused, she acquiesced to the captain's request, too tired and emotionally worn out to argue with her. Melody walked up to her father's body, currently slumped against the kitchen island, and wrapped her tiny arms around him in a hug.
Good night, Papa.
Good night, Vladimir.
Yoshiki, could you give me a hand? We can move him into the medical bay for the time being.
Yeah, of course.
You, Shizuka, you two should head off and get some rest.
Can do.
I left for Shizuka and made our way back to our respective rooms. As I crawled into bed and closed my eyes, I swore I could still hear Vladimir singing. So. Dann können wir mal hier für heute aufhören. So. Dann sind wir hier wieder bei Platz 1. Dann haben wir beim nächsten Mal den letzten Strang. Dann sollten wir alle Passwörter haben. Und dann gucken wir mal, wie sie zusammenpassen. Dass wir endlich mal einen Override zustande kriegen. Und dann sollten wir auch langsam zu den anderen Punkten hier oben kommen. Okay. So. Gespeichert. Wir gehen ins Hauptmenü. Und so. Spiel das aus. Und ups. Spiel das aus. Blöde Twitch-App, Twitch-Seite. Können wir raiden. Auch wenn... Jetzt schaffe ich es richtig zu schreiben. Da. Rhinocerop. H-I-N-O-Z-E-R-O-B. So, einen schönen Abend noch und bye bye.
Weil wie gesagt, Nio steht dann auch auf der Liste fürs nächste Jahr.